This is an R-rated experience.
Yes, it is, baby. Sometimes it becomes X-rated. We keep the language and the topics real. Yes.
Sometimes the topics go further. Not for kids.
Or we're not for adults who get easily offended.
Hit snooze once.
You are going to be 9 minutes behind the guy who does not.
You are 9 minutes behind.
And look, we are in day 12 of 2026. You are already hundreds of minutes behind the guy who has not been hitting snooze.
That math never changes.
And yes, of course, we're going to talk about a story involving the Pentagon.
Yes, this is real news. It involves the Pentagon. Stay with me.
Butt plugs and a sex shop. Hey, I don't make this shit up. I just deliver it. Inside Out, the movie Inside Out 3 is wrong.
Not a little wrong. Fundamentally wrong.
Not because emotions don't drive behavior, they do.
The dangerous ones are quiet.
But because the feelings that quietly destroy men are not the obvious, colorful ones. No, they're the numbness that looks like productivity.
Numbness looks productive. That's why it's deadly. Nobody notices.
Shame that hides behind perfection.
Shame loves perfection. Perfection hides everything until it leaks.
And resentment that leaks into everything.
Resentment doesn't stay contained. It leaks into work and home.
Is spanking discipline in 2026 or is it abuse?
Is spanking discipline now or abuse? Depends on who's talking.
And if you grew up with it,
this one hits harder than you expect.
This one might hit close. What happens when you don't do the internal work?
Skip the internal work. Watch leadership suffer. Every time.
How the emotions linked into leadership and relationships, and how small, honest check-ins.
Small, honest check-ins matter.
Become the difference between control and collapse.
They stop collapse before it starts.
So nation, let's get after it. Let's get going. Let's roll. Let's get after it.
This show moves fast. Grab the coffee.
Settle in, buckle up. Boopity boop. The morning loop starts right now. If you're not listening to this show live,
if you're snoozing right now,
you suck.
You know it.
If you're laying in bed, you're snoozing.
We know it.
And you just can't get up and get after it. The news doesn't arrive as a headline.
News isn't headlines anymore.
It arrives as a video these days.
It's video. 10 seconds long.
And the wild part we all use and we all see.
Same clip.
The same angle, the same 10 seconds.
Same chaos.
But we walk away with it with
10 different truths.
Because right now the internet has two speeds.
The internet has two speeds. Instant outrage.
Or zero verification. Well, that's the whole game.
Yeah.
Because the feed rewards certainty.
The feed loves loud confidence.
But reality, well, it rewards curiosity.
Reality loves curiosity.
So when everybody has seen the same videos, the service isn't the video.
Exactly. The clip is cheap.
The service is the room.
The room is where you get smart.
A place where you can talk through what you saw, what you believe, what you want to believe, and what actually might be true.
She's a bit of a overprotector.
Right, we were all that parent at some point.
And, you know, she's...
Fear just wears a nicer outfit now.
Weren't we all?
He doesn't like motorcycle starts, he fucking runs. Because, you know, he had a bad experience.
That's hilarious and real.
Where he was standing close to one to start. It was really fucking loud.
One loud start, and your body remembers forever.
He would go down to the bottom and pull up 4 or 5 of these things at a time now.
That's rep stacking. You blink, and a kid becomes a machine.
Wonderful to be a part of that. The innocence of watching a young child, let's just call it out. A young child swim to the bottom of the pool.
That innocence is magic.
To grab a little white stick or red stick. Like, as simple as that.
Small, brave things build big, brave people.
I think if you put Keith and Jon's energy into a bucket, I still don't think that we can match his energy.
I'm tired hearing about it.
He's like, I've been pitched all these things by every podcast show on the planet.
Some people are just wired like a hurricane.
But I want to do a show with you and Jon because you guys are doing it right.
I'm like shitting my pants, man.
That's honest excitement. You don't get that from polite networking.
Keep in mind, I mean, I haven't watched that type of television in a fucking long time.
Same. When you step back in, you realize how much the world changed.
Well, yeah.
I've been to so many fucking operas, dude.
Come on.
That's the funniest humble brag.
It was one part of me being cultured.
I was cultured is dangerous in this room.
Shit.
Bob Weir, one of the founders of the Grateful Dead, passed on the weekends.
That one lands. Some artists are time machines for your life.
You think about artists, right? Like, I got this guy on my wall here. Like, my lowest moments, my highest moments, it's like this was a soundtrack through my life.
Yeah, that's real grief. It's not celebrity, it's memory.
I mean, I agree with everything you're saying.
That line is dark and honest.
But I'll be so much happier to mourn over the death of my favorite artist than my daughters.
It's a reminder what actually matters.
My dad instilled in me a spirit of gratitude growing up.
Old school advice, still wins.
Always be grateful for what you have.
Gratitude keeps you sane when life gets loud.
You have the best fucking chemist in the fucking planet living right there.
That's a bar.
It's just, are you asking the evil chemist or the good chemist to work for you?
Same brain, different mission.
I was really grateful when you reminded me of that, but Chalamet said to his dad said to him, Timothy, you don't deserve anything. Be grateful even when you get a shot and walk out with your head up whether you win or you lose.
You got the right to fucking shut your mouth and go get what you want. You don't have the right to anything.
R-rated truth. Nobody owes you anything, so move.
I get up and have these fucking inspiring conversations that set up my fucking day.
The world is full of videos over here, but they always don't tell the real story. So if you see something you don't understand or you see something you don't like, bring it to the show. We'll talk about it and we'll have a conversation about it.
That's the show. Bring the mess and we'll think through it together.
And I was like, why do I want to pollute my brain with a bunch of shit that unfortunately I'm already doing everything I can to help those situations not happen?
That's a real boundary.
Yeah.
I'm fully vested in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's hearing this tragic story, all it's going to do is fuck my heart up.
You can care without self-destructing.
The NBA, Johnny, breaking news this morning. NBA is actively working with FIBA
That's huge.
to launch a separate NBA-backed European league starting next year.
More opportunity always changes the game.
What I love about it is that much more opportunity for people that are still trying to chase their dreams.
John, this weekend, the Pentagon sent a note
This is why the internet exists.
to a Canadian sex shop to stop sending butt plugs to our troops.
You couldn't write this in a writer's room.
Like, this is interesting that they're, and it went viral because it's just more topics that why would a Canadian sex shop be sending butt plugs to the U.S. Pentagon? It seems to be the place where deep thinking blogs, research, full ideas come to life. Would you bet against Elon Musk?
No.
Absolutely not. That man doesn't quit, he reloads.
Enough said. Right, exactly. He's not letting this thing go away or die, right? So listen to this if you're listening right now. He identifies his 5 key barriers to change: reactance, endowment, distance, uncertainty, and corroborating evidence. When Procter & Gamble asked people not to eat Tide Pods, like Tide cleaning pods, not to eat Tide Pods during the 2018 viral challenge.
Hold on. What the fuck? What's a cleaning pod eat? I mean, swear to Christ, there was not a room in her house that didn't have some jar. They love candy. So of course, I'm always looking for the place, the rooms where nobody's in there, so I can just fucking just bulldog the fucking jar. All I'm doing is I'm running downstairs to go through the basement to get to the backyard for some fucking reason. I'm running by the washer dryer. What do I see? A big fucking jar of candy up there. Well, what they were like look like little flowers of some sort, you know, like very colorful.
When you get up in the morning, your simple task is to put your shoes on. There's no resistance to getting out of the house, no resistance to going to the gym.
Dude, that put the shoes on thing has got to be like one of the most home run fucking statements I've given you in a long time.
I found a guy who did a really cool, Jericho, let's run this epic spot here, man. I always like doing these things with you because I like to learn with you, but there's a gentleman here doing a Turkish getup. Check this out, man. And it's huge. Let's see this here. This guy's doing a 255-pound Turkish getup. You and I have seen too many folks that like to argue with people on the internet. That's why I love you, because you're like, fuck that.
Best ways to drain people's energy nowadays is via the internet. This woman is a astrophysicist. Actually, this is not how space works. Read a book. Now I just wait for the comments to come in. The energy you get this way isn't quite as pure, but if you do enough of it, it'll fill you up.
I found something pretty cool, man, because we go through life, we don't think about how things work. But I found the 5 most famous laws in the world called Kindness Rising. If you guys missed them today, Matt was talking about the death of Bob Weir. If you're Grateful Dead, folks, Matt is a massive fan. The guy has, Johnny, you're gonna love this, man. I think it's what he's climbed Everest 7 times with 1 lung. We're not talking about the laws like don't cross the road, you know, eat with your left hand, eat with your right hand, and stuff like that. He's the only person in history to complete the Explorers Grand Slam with 1 lung. And Johnny, I know you're listening. And the guy wasn't even finished yet. He ran 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. Yeah, what did I just say? Yeah, 7 marathons. Telling people what to do is very different than giving them less options to get after it. No excuses, no excuses. All right, let's get into it. The 5 most famous laws in the world. And it's funny because I don't think we think about much of these things, but they're such a big part of the world.
We get what we think about most. If you want something, start thinking about it. Your brain will start solving the problems of how to go get that thing.
The moment you start convincing yourself it's never going to happen, the fuck is never going to happen. If you write the problem down clearly, then the matter is half solved. This, to me, is where most people struggle with AI. Let me explain. Because they think that AI can read your brain. They just say, do this for me. And then the AI just does it for you. But if you take the time to clearly articulate what you're trying to solve, you've already solved half the problem in your head through your words. If you write the problem down clearly, then the matter is half solved. When you take on a task, finding the best ways to achieve the desired result is always your responsibility. Wilson's Law, number 4 in our 5 laws that we live with every single day. If you prioritize knowledge and intelligence, money will continue to come.
Say again.
If you prioritize knowledge and intelligence, money will continue to come.
Guaranteed. You go to really dumb motherfuckers.
Yes.
Give 2 different answers. You say you can have $100 million or you can have all the information in the world you need for the next 5 minutes. The dumb motherfuckers just give me the money.
If you don't have to make a decision about something, then don't decide. Example, when emotions are high during a personal or professional disagreement, applying this law means choosing not to decide on a fix or resolution immediately.
If it's in that realm and you don't know what to do not do anything. But now, if you take that away from that, like now we're talking about, daily productivity of any nature. This does not apply. Just fucking move.
We don't spend enough teaching ourselves as humans how to respond in difficult situations.
Nobody taught us. Fuck.
That's what I mean.
It's fucking pitch dark, and it's not like someone turns the lights on. It's like the fucking ceiling opens up this fucking beautiful sky.
The irony is that Rico says, and he's right, not making a decision is actually making a decision.
It's like there's something boiling, but we can't fucking find the fucking stove where the shit is boiling.
The geopolitical sense of the world right now is shifting by the minute, actually. It's by the minute.
Oh.
My point is, now that the U.S. has been postulating about taking Greenland, you got Europe going, okay, we're going to go put a bunch of defense around Greenland so that we can persuade people not to go there. Check this out, man. I've never seen a horse in a grocery store or a Target store, but in Texas a couple weeks ago, a guy decided to go shopping in Target with his horse. And he just and of course in Texas, Johnny, just ridiculous, man. Just horses in the store. Only in Texas will we see the.
I mean, the story's not complete unless this horse takes a dump in the Target. Let's be honest.
You know what? You're actually.
Let's flip that script. Let's give you one thing to focus on. And if you execute it even 65%, which is not even a passing grade, you're going to make some progress, like noticeable progress that you'll be pleased with. That'll make you want to do it again. If it could see you, you can eat it. Just don't let yourself get hungry. And when it's time to eat primarily protein and literally do this for a week.
And then we address the headline involving the Pentagon and a sex shop and butt plugs. Yes, what am I talking about? Go back and listen to it. Butt plugs being sent to the Pentagon. And then, hey guys, we're going to have a conversation about spanking, discipline, or abuse. And then more focus.
It's not display of what fucking true live candid is. I don't know.
If it didn't happen in the ring, it never happened. And I love that because it's like, if it didn't happen here, was it settled in the ring? No, then I guess it never happened. Do you know how many holes the human body has?
I used to have this really fucking bad habit of literally, I would just almost like I'd fucking Tourette's, dude. I would just fucking blurt out like a big cuss word. We have zero possibility of changing what happened behind us.
Exactly.
Yeah, we can learn from it, move forward. And once that lesson is learned, fucking leave that shit behind.
I've worked hard to be present and I've worked hard to be future. I think like yourself as well.
Cortisol is what allows a woman to flip a fucking car over to get her baby out. Cortisol allows us to run. Cortisol is what allows Marty and I to run from a fucking saber-tooth tiger when you're back in the fucking camp.
Hey, if your life stayed the same for the next 5 years, what part of you would die first?
I clearly recognize my daily mundane, my loop, is what keeps my life evolving or changing, as to where most people look at the short term. Oh my God,
and how actually that's very much the secret to success is the boring and the mundane, right? You accept my brother for who he is, and if you don't like us, that's fine. You can go somewhere else. But much easier. Be all in, man. Be you who you are. Be you, be your story, be what you are. You got our full support. Guys, you don't need to be perfect. Just be honest.
Because under a microscope, we're just one big fucking pore.
So there's no
one set of holes, so to speak. You get fat ass, you can get your fucking finger probably 2 knuckles deep in his belly button. So again, we got to define the hole.
Anatomically speaking, humans have about 9 to 10 main body openings. So depending on the sex, mathematically you can model the body as having around 6 to 7 through holes. And if you count pores, there are actually millions.
So it's like, fuck, am I really fucking dealt with a fucking car that talks like a pussy, and a fucking guy that drives it that's trying to be tough, that clearly would get his ass whipped in almost all of the situations that he steps into. You ever see that fucking jackass where, I can't remember his name, but he was the guy that just made all the goofy shit, but they fucking jerked the horse off, and he fucking took a drink of the horse cum. As he looks at the camera and he goes, I'm so ashamed of myself.
We should actually put it on the show here. Go watch a 30-second clip of A-Team in 2026 and watch them shoot they're going to have 1 million rounds of bullets. Nobody's going to get hit. Nobody dies. Nobody gets hit. Johnny, folks are heading to Costco to buy this 25-year emergency food supply. $3,000. You get 36,000 freeze-dried servings, including pasta, potatoes, and desserts. My family is still eating the remnants of it because we didn't eat it all. So we've been making his family eat all the freeze-dried stuff because it's what it is. If you went to my parents' house, my mom and dad have 1,000 square foot cold room down underneath the patio. Johnny, it's got fridges and freezers and canned this and canned that. That if an apocalypse came, you come hang out with me. We'll go to mom and dad's house and we'll live for a long time.
You never get what's out in the bottom. You never get what's in the bottom of that fucker. Until finally the day it breaks and you got to empty it out to put a new one in. That's when you see the shit at the bottom. I could dig with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Linda Carter.
Yeah, I had no shame with watching ass.
No shame. When you're triggered, your brain doesn't invent new solutions. No, it reaches for what it knows. It reaches for how it's practiced it in the past. Well, we talked about life expectancy work last week. We talk about it daily. We know that life expectancy work keeps us alive longer. The science tells us that. Well, Hotchkiss says the so-called masculinity crisis is actually a crisis of self-hatred. Again, I go back to men, we need to get our own mirrors. Most men, says Hotchkiss, never went through a real initiation into manhood. True story. No separation from mom, no male elders teaching you how to stand alone, no rite of passage that proved you could handle hard things. Without that, many men, according to Hotchkiss, stay emotionally attached to women for regulation, safety, and validation. Guys, consider this. The fix isn't advice. It's embodied work with other men. The physical challenge, the emotional excavation. You have to ask yourself this. You need to reconnect to your body, your emotions, your vitality. And hey, you also need touch, play, tenderness with other men. True story. Hugs. Go grab a hug from a buddy today. Emotional responsibility is a leadership skill most people ignore. She says that real leadership isn't about how much you accomplish. Hard to argue with that. It's about how much stability you bring while moving forward. And she asks this, are you strong enough to carry others with you? Or are your emotions pulling everyone else around you? Hey guys, today we talked about the emotions that men live with every day that don't look dramatic enough to name, but they still shape our decisions. They still shape our relationships. They still shape our discipline, and they still shape our momentum. You need language. Yeah, you don't need to be fixed. You need language awareness. The guy was given 14 days to live, and more than a decade later, he climbed Everest with one lung. He's the only person in history to complete the Explorers Grand Slam with one lung, and he ran 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. The case for not quitting nicotine in 2026.
This is Mornings in the Lab. Live conversations. Real shit. If you're ready, let's go. You're disciplined. You're high functioning. And you hate wondering if nicotine is running you.
Today isn't judgment. It's an honest assessment of whether it's leverage or a liability.
Only on Mornings in the Lab.
Stick around for real talk and entertaining conversations.
Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where accountability partner here to help you start your day. Silence makes our monsters grow stronger.
I love why this whole segment is that fucking to me about this.
How to compromise without losing your balls.
Everybody's trying to win. Nobody's trying to solve.
Live beats perfect every time.
Reset is a decision, not a calendar date. Don't chase details. Chase the lesson.
You guys gonna quit your nicotine? Or are you guys gonna keep doing that nicotine? We're talking about it today because most men quit nicotine and other substances because they're supposed to, and then they quietly lose the focus. They lose the edge or they lose the rhythm. And then they keep using it and quietly wonder if they're lying to themselves. Where today we're gonna talk about ending that quiet mental noise, or maybe not. With a clear way to know whether you're making a conscious performance choice or you're just rationalizing a habit. So you stop outsourcing your judgment to other people, trends, and guilt. But first, let's hear the drum roll, because we're here to get after it. And it all starts right now. Good morning and welcome back to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Jon, and friends, your live morning show experience, your daily accountability partner, and the place for real talk, motivating content, and entertaining conversation. This is this is not a podcast you half listen to and put it on the shelf. No, this is a live experience built to sharpen your judgment and to numb it. True story. We're here to help you start your day with clarity, honesty, and momentum, guys. Hey, quick reminders. Like the channel, subscribe to the channel, come say hello, comment, come say hello in the comments, you guys. If you disagree with what we're saying today, especially if you disagree, I love the discourse. Come put it in the comments. Let's come say hello. And just a reminder, this is an R-rated experience. Sometimes it even moves down the alley of X-rated experience. So if the kids are around, this is your daily warning. Yes, this is it's awesome. Thanks, Jorge, for the notes. R-rated experience. We're doing it live right now, and I got my team behind the scenes doing some cool stuff. So we're doing some testing, guys. Another thing too: do not hit the snooze button. You hit that snooze button, you're going to be 9 minutes behind the guy who didn't. I think we got to put a timer on our new app that says how many minutes you're going to be behind, because today it is 13 days behind. 13 times 9 is what? That is how many minutes you are behind the guy who hasn't snoozed all year. Hey, we're going to be stretching the brain with what's happening around the world right now. This morning, Apple just made a quiet but massive AI decision. Is it called Apple Google? Yeah, coming up, Gemini is going to be powering Siri in the next couple of months. Then we're going to break on some new research around same-sex behavior in primates to look at how social species manage tension, hierarchy, and survival under pressure. This will be an entertaining conversation. Other trending topics coming up today in the show. We're going to head to center stage with Sean Swarner coming up, a man who was told he had 14 days to live and went on to climb Everest with one lung over a decade later. Guys, this is not inspiration porn. No, it's a grounded conversation about limits, adaptations, and whether humans really have any excuses not to live fully. Coming up on Deep Dive after that, we're going to go deep on today's main topic: why I know Jon is not quitting nicotine in 2026. This is not about defending a habit. No, or it's not about rebelling against self-improvement culture. We're talking about ownership. We're talking down the difference between unconscious addiction and conscious leverage, and just joys, perhaps joys in life. Deep dive topic two. We're going to get into something we didn't get to yesterday, which was spanking. We're going to have that conversation today up on the show as well. And then, guys, morning focus. We got the morning focus topic up later on the show as well. And then in the community corner, we're going to move from those different thoughts with Maya Reyes coming up today on the Community Corner segment. But guys, right now, we are going to get this segment of the show that we call The Morning Loop, and it starts right now. Guys, All right, so we are. I guess I missed the cue here. Yeah, no transition. All right, so we're gonna keep rolling here, guys. Listen, you guys can join the show with us live right now. The phone lines are open: 431-300-3005, 431-300-3005. I'll get you guys into the phone lines this morning. We're gonna open up in the second hour: 431-300-3005. We'll get you guys into the phone this morning. Good morning, Sullivan. Good morning, Holroyd. I see you guys out there in the comments this morning as well. Good to have you guys out here on the show this morning. All right, well, listen, I got something I want to put on the table here this morning, which is going to just got to get off my chest. I spent some time last night with a family member that is moving to the other side of life. And I thought I would take a few minutes today just to kick off my show and send some love and send maybe some thoughts for all of us to consider as we go through the day today. Because I got to be honest, man, I never experienced what I experienced yesterday in my journey in life, and I wanted to share it with all of you. And it's going to sound a little bit like this. So last night, guys, I said goodbye. I said goodbye to someone who's still living, but is about to die. It could be minutes. It could be days, it could be weeks. And I don't say that to all of you for drama. I say it because that sentence does something to you when it's real. When you're standing there looking at a person who's breathing, who's talking, who's smiling, and you both know the clock is not your friend anymore. How do you ask questions about the future when there is no future? I walked into that meeting thinking I was going to be the strong one. You know the role we all play. We show up, we keep it together, we say the right things. We try to help. But I wasn't the strong one. She was. What struck me most wasn't the sadness, it was her courage. And not the loud kind, not the movie kind, the quiet kind. The kind that looks like choosing to live anyway in the face of imminent death. Now, they didn't talk like someone who was losing everything. They talked like someone who could finally see everything. What? You want me to say that again? Gladly. They didn't talk to me like someone who was losing everything. They talked like someone who could finally see everything. I asked if they were scared. I asked if there was fear. In response, no. I'm grateful for all that I have. And the thing that messed me up in the moment, in the best way, was the gratitude. Not forced gratitude, as in I'm trying to be positive. No. Real gratitude. They spoke about the small moments. They were priceless. The morning coffee, the laugh with someone they loved, their children, the certain songs, the memory that still made them feel warm. And there was no fear in the room. Nothing but unconditional love. I kept waiting for the panic. I looked around and I asked myself, and I looked at her and I said to myself, is she asking herself, why me? But she wasn't. And I kept waiting for the panic, for the why me, for the anger, for the bargaining. None of it, and I mean none of it came. What came was presence. And I realized something that I'm almost embarrassed to admit to all of you this morning on the show, that most of us, nation, we're not afraid of dying. What I'm experiencing daily on this show with many of you is we're afraid of really living. Because really living means feeling things. It means saying the truth before it's too late. It means calling the person, taking the trip, stopping the petty wars. Letting the ego starve a little so the heart can finally breathe. And I sat there with someone who had every reason to be terrified. And you know what? They weren't. And it made me look at my own life like a mirror held too close. All the times I've delayed joy, all the times I've acted like I have unlimited time, all the times I've saved love for later, like later is guaranteed. Last night's conversation, it changed my life. Because when you sit with someone who's close to the edge, on the other side, knocking, perhaps at heaven's door, you learn what matters, not your followers, not your to-do list, not your arguments, not your someday, not your one day. What matters is, did you love well? Did you say what needed to be said? Did you show up? Did you live like you knew the clock was real. And I don't know who needs to hear this morning, but I'll say it plainly to all of you. If you're lucky enough to wake up today, you don't have time for shallow. You don't have time for pettiness. You don't have time, pardon me, to be a fucking idiot. Send the message. Make the apology. Start the thing. Tell the truth. Hold the hand. Be brave enough to love the people out loud. Because I watched someone last night who is living and is about to die. And they reminded me what the rest of us keep forgetting. That you didn't wait till the end to become grateful. You became grateful, and that's how you actually live. But here's my question for you today as we kick off today's show, and I'm asking it for real. If you know you had less time than you think, what would you do differently today? All right, guys. I'm going to close with this. Kathy, I love you. And I'll see you on the other side. Jericho, let's bring Johnny in the house. What's going on, brother?
I just heard the tail end of that, but it sounded like a passing of some sort.
You know what, pal? It was, I want to keep myself straight on this one. It was just some love that I wanted to send to somebody that I spent some time with last night that's about to die. Whether it's a minute from now, whether it's an hour from now, whether it's a week from now. But brother, I sat with her in the face of her fear and she just expressed gratitude and love.
That's the way it's supposed to be, baby. She
reminded me to remind all of you, remind all of us to live. To live. And that's why I wanted to put that message to her this morning, because I was grateful that I had that chance. And you know, John, I had such a wonderful conversation with her about living, about her fears, just like maybe you had with your mom. And man, I've never had the chance to have that conversation before with somebody in that moment. And I can't tell you how warm I felt with love from the other person. So
as someone who gets it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%. How are you, man? How are you? And we'll keep moving on here. How are you today, bud? You got your grandson still in the house or what?
Still, that's it. One more day, baby. Yeah.
Grandpa John getting after it.
I can't complain.
No.
Life is good, baby.
Yes.
Life is good. Yeah, no, it's been like an extended Christmas for me, man. This has just been like,
dude, it's been never ending for you.
I love it, dude. This is started about short week before Christmas. And there's been a little breaks here and there, but for the most part, it's been just rolling.
Yeah. Hey, we got interesting guests on the show here today, man. We got the dude who's climbed a bunch of continents, done a bunch of crazy shit with one lung. Sean Swarner just joined us in the studio there, joining us in a few moments here. And just the perfect the perfect guest, just like the visit I had last night. There's no excuses to not live, is there, Johnny? There's really no excuses. You know, it's funny and I was having a conversation with yesterday, somebody about business, and they were saying, well, I don't know if we can do that. I don't know. And it kept ending this, I don't know if we can. And I'm like, hold on a second here. A dude caught a fucking rocket ship falling from the sky. If he can catch a rocket ship with 2 chopsticks falling from the sky, we can do fucking anything. So don't tell me we can't do something, because if you can catch the largest moving object falling from the sky with 2 chopsticks, I think we can do a little task that everybody thinks is impossible. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the perfect benchmark, actually, for anybody that says, I don't know if I can, John. Okay.
Well, that's the limited thought process that fucks people up.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, limited thoughts and, just having that position, that scarcity mindset is what keeps people where they are.
Yeah. Speaking of limiting mindset, I threw a topic on the table for you and I to get after today, and I put you onto it. Why I'm not quitting nicotine in 2026.
All right. I'm so deep into my belief system with nicotine now, it's crazy.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the second hour.
I don't give a shit what anybody says.
I love it.
I've been through enough. I stepped it up. So I chewed between my cigar, my calculation, and my gum. I've probably had, oh, Jesus Christ, probably 30 milligrams of fucking nicotine, which is a shitload.
I have no context for that. So
Look, like a piece of 4 milligram gum will make most people feel like they want to throw up.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
So I had a cigar, which is about, I'm counting it for about 10.
Okay.
Probably could be as close to 15.
Yeah.
Plus, then I made up the difference in up to roughly 30 grams, between 25 and 30 grams, which is a fair amount of nicotine.
Yeah.
You know
Yes.
Because I mean, that means I'm talking like 5 pieces of gum plus my cigar. Right? So that'd be almost like a fucking, that's like a, I don't know what the calculation for a cigarette is, but it's a shitload anyway.
Yeah.
And if I don't leave the shit out multiple days in a row, and if I don't leave it out on my desk, I'll fucking forget to do it the next day. So how is that addictive?
We're going to talk about it.
I am addictive, motherfucker. I know what addiction is. That is not addictive.
We're going to talk about that in the second hour. I'm looking forward to that chat. I put it up there. I was looking for some trending topics. Zen is trending, nicotine's trending, and we're going to have the conversation today. I'll tell you what else is trending, Anderson. I know this is not a sports show. We don't talk sports in this show. However, I did have to put something on the table today. Last night, to all the good morning, Silly Goose 2.0. Thanks for joining myself, Keith, Bilous, Jon Andersen this morning on Mornings Live with Keith, Jon, and friends. Our guest, Sean Swarner, dropping in at the bottom of the hour here. Johnny, we don't talk much sports on the show. We largely stay away from it, let the others go there. But however, I wanted to go here today. Loyalty sometimes wrecks businesses, wrecks relationships, and wrecks sports teams. And maybe there's folks waking up this morning in Pittsburgh saying it's time to fire the coach and time to fire the quarterback. Steelers lost again last night. Why loyalty is killing companies' growth. John, when does loyalty go too far? Sports aside, when does loyalty go too far in your experience?
Well, I mean, I think first thing you got to understand for any person who's not had any real business experiences, you have to, if you don't separate the line between business and friendship, you're gonna have a hell of a time at this.
Yes. Yes.
Now, but there's loyalty on both sides of the fence too.
I agree.
So first thing you got to do is you got to get this friend thing out of the equation. Look, it's like, Keith, we're buddies. I love you. That's not changing. Yeah. So let's take that and put it over here. Now let's take the gloves off and let's go at it. It's bare knuckle shit for business. Let's sort out this problem.
Yes.
And yes, you're the reason why we're here. But you know what? We need a different fucking handsome chief. If we want to reach our goals, this is what we need.
Yeah.
And yes, the loyalty is with you. Yes, you're not going anywhere. Yes. But let's do what's best for the project.
Bingo.
Right?
That last part, I think, is what's often missed, John, is what's best for the project. It's too often, I'm focused on Jon Andersen when there's 40 other people on our project. And I'm like, there's 39 other people going, wait a minute, what about us? Why are you so loyal to Jon? Isn't your job to take care of 41 of us, not just one of us? That has been my experience. For too often, we're too focused on the one when there's actually the macro, right? Yeah. And we forget about that, right?
Well, and I think also too in that whole thing. So this hypothetical Keith that I'm talking to right now.
Yeah.
He could go, he could look at it two ways. He'd go, fuck, this really sucks. Why am I getting singled out? Poor me, blah, blah, blah. Or he could say, you know what? Clearly, I fucking did my job because it got us here, and we've evolved beyond what I can do. We need help.
Yes.
I did my fucking job. I worked this thing to my max capacity. We need someone with a slightly different or better skill set. How do I support this person? I put so much effort into this. Now, guess what? To a certain extent, you can think, fuck, man, not all this pressure has to be on me. I stomached it long enough. Now there's going to be some other people to come and help. That's an amazing perspective, but I don't think that's for that ego. That's for that. I don't know. That's where people get all fucking butthurt because, it's hard to be told that you're not the guy anymore.
Well, and loyalty is a virtue until it unfortunately becomes an excuse. And it's like, we're loyal. Well, no, because here's, and again, this is where I think, in my experience anyways, leaders trip up. Results are the scoreboard. I'm sorry. And this is where I got to say, I lean back often in our conversations back to wrestling and WWE. Like, whether you like the guy or not, let's go make some money together. Let's go into business together. There's loyalty, but there's loyalty to the business first. And I always go back to that. It's to the business, to the shareholders, to the business first. If we can do two things and create a great project to great value, let's do it. But that to me is a sport where the loyalty is about the business, not the loyalty to the human.
Well, you said you said something really important. If a business person doesn't realize that, hey, I don't like this cocksucker,
Yeah.
but I need to fucking work well with him because that's necessary for this situation. That the guy that doesn't see that is fucking dangerous.
Bingo. Yes, I'm with you there. 100%. 100%. So I find this fast, and I find it quite fascinating in sports too, because you really have two kinds of results, right? You got John the accountant, who's looking at the books, and you got Keith the sports guy seeing that we're winning and losing. And you're like, and there's two winners every quarter, or there's two winners every season. How much money did we make and how much games did we win? Right. And it's actually a fascinating discussion when you think about it, because it's a push and pull, right? Sometimes you can make a lot of money, but you can have the worst season. Sometimes you can win a lot of games and make no money. And so the loyalty is an ambiguous question when it comes down to sports and business and so forth. But I just found it fascinating. I woke up this morning, I saw, okay, yeah, Steelers down again. Are they going to get rid of the coach? Are they going to get rid of the quarterback? And what's going to happen there? But just back to loyalty. When does loyalty? Because we have the same here in Winnipeg, John, with our hockey team, losing. A lot of people are calling for firing the coach, and this is a very loyal organization. So you ask yourself, at what point does loyalty come at a cost, right?
Well, now I'm going to step back and speak more from the inside, because I've been on the inside where someone's watching your shit, say, oh man, you should have done it like this, you should have done that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, armchair quarterback.
Yeah.
You don't even know what it takes to fucking get here. Then to deal with the fucking pressure that comes along with this.
Yes.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Fuck me, man. Yeah. You got all these people. Oh my God. This is what the Steelers need to do. You have no fucking idea what goes on in that building.
But you know what? I will say this, though, and we'll wrap this up with this one statement. That is the joy of being a fan, though. Like, there's something about being a fan, right? Which is, when you're a fan of something, it's a fan when it's shitty and it's a fan when it's good. And that, to me, is the definition of a fan. And yes, you're entitled to your opinion. That's the joy of it, right? Which is,
what about the fan that fucking, this is the best, dude.
Yes.
I'm just making it, I'm
Yeah.
making it just a hypothetical. The Steelers lose and he's fucking mad. So he takes a glass and he fucking throws it into his own TV.
Oh, we know
he destroys his own fucking personal shit.
I know.
When he has no bear, it affects him zero.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
and if
true.
he was dumb enough to fucking make a bet, then fucking glad he got smoked. But
Yes.
it's just like, this is like, okay, how does that make sense?
Responding.
Tell me how.
Good morning, everybody. Hanging out with Keith and Jon this morning on Mornings in Live with Keith, Jon, and friends. We got Swarner joining us in a few moments. The guy who accomplished a lot of crazy things in life with one lung. True story. No excuses to achieve crazy things. Hey, yesterday, Jon, I got some few news topics for the table this morning to update your brain and my brain. Apple just crowned a new AI king, and it's not OpenAI, so we both use Apple devices. Well, Siri, the useless Siri product that we have on our phone for many years, is actually going to be powered by Google Gemini in the next couple of months. So your phone is going to have some new capabilities powered by Google and Apple, and it just gets the world just stays
crazy
the same.
thing about Siri, right?
Yes.
So of course my wife and I, we have fucking Apple phones, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I can say, hey Siri,
Yes.
blah blah blah. Bitch won't speak up. My wife could be on the other side of the fucking house, be talking to her phone, say, hey Siri. Mine will fucking answer. Yeah. No matter what I say, no matter what tone I fucking give it, I can say, please answer this question, Siri. I can say, you bitch, get out of bed and answer my question. Does not hear my voice. My wife, just the Siri, my fucking phone. And then I'll be in the middle of something and she'll start speaking. I'm like, God damn it.
Hey, so here's an interesting research study just came out, Johnny. Same-sex sexual behavior in primates. Primates. Yes, not quest for fire. Primates may be an ancient survival strategy. New research is showing that same-sex sexual behavior is widespread in non-human primates and is likely an evolved social tool rather than a mistake or an anomaly. This is actually some new research. In many species, it appears to help individuals manage conflict, form allegiances, and cope with harsh or stressful environments, which can indirectly boost survival and even reproductive success. Now I'm going to stand there, which makes me curious, Jon. You hear about men going to prison, and you hear men staying, being in prison, and you hear some of the jokes and the innuendo in prison. So listen to what I says here. In many species, it appears that same-sex behavior helps individuals manage conflict, form alliances, and cope with harsh or stressful environments, which can indirectly boost survival. So this research was compiled, Johnny, on just under 500 non-primate species, and they found that at least, and there's a bunch of same-sexual behavior along the way here. So I found it quite fascinating, actually.
Well, let's get the rules of the engagement straight here. You and I run into some heavy shit. We'll find another way to bond.
Yeah. Deal. Fucking deal. I can't even touch that one.
Well, you know, it's kind of crazy though, because you like to get personal.
Yeah.
Myself, like I remember like the first time I had my heart broken.
Yeah.
And this is like crazy fucking personal shit, but it's just it's me. So I put my shit out there. So I go through my first heartbreak, right? And I was fucking messed up, dude. Messed up.
Yeah.
And literally fucking jerking off, getting in that habit, whatever it was, that release was like these fucking brief moments of I'm gonna be okay for a little while.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yes. Well,
I remember point blank, dude, like fucking straight up point blank.
Yeah.
She on the phone, she tells me, right, what had happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can remember point blank, just not even hanging the phone up, just fucking dropping the phone and having this fucking overwhelming urge to fucking get a nut.
No shit, eh?
Bam. Bam. Just like that. And I'll say this. I didn't hang up the phone. I was standing home I was alone in the house at that time. So I don't need to finish the rest of the story, but yeah. It was just, so I relate to somehow understand that there's some sort of coping mechanism, whatever it was, to what, but definitely I chose to be by myself rather than go find my male neighbor to do so.
I was waiting for that. Dum, dum, dum. Yes. Dum, dum, dum. Yes.
I need to bond. I need to bond.
Can I come spend a couple of moments to bond with you? I love it. Hey, so we got some history happening up in space here this week, Johnny. SpaceX is pulling off a first. They're going to medically evacuate some folks from the International Space Station. There's been somebody sick up there, actually. So this is the first, I didn't know this, the first time in the space station's 25-year history they had to evacuate somebody. So I guess there's somebody.
Didn't we just recently talk about this?
Yeah, because they're going to decommission.
I was thinking this fucking guy had been up there for 25 years, and you informed me that they've been putting him up there in shifts.
Yes. Yes, they've been coming up and down. But there's somebody up there.
That's a long fucking time to be up there. God damn it.
Jesus Christ, man. We got a funny comment. Stay away from Jon for 15 minutes if he gets bad news.
That's right.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Opinions are like, that's so funny. Hey, Jericho, let's go to the WTF is this, man. Johnny, I know you're a dog guy. I'm a dog guy too. There's somebody, man, who I don't even know how to describe this. This is a guy who built an entire town, Johnny, just for cats with a working subway. There's even a freaking McDonald's. I think this guy spent like $45 million on this thing. Jericho, let's run this clip, man.
This is not a joke.
No, this is real, dude. Look at this. This is actually this guy's.
I was gonna say it's got to be some sort of an Asian scenario.
Yeah, it's exactly it. So here's the thing. So once I found this, what you're seeing there is all miniature. Like this,
it's clearly look at him in the store.
I know. So everybody was teasing him that it was AI. So he's like, "No, I'm gonna show you the videos how I built all this thing." Apparently, he has spent millions upon millions of dollars. He's a YouTuber, of course, but he's created these mini worlds for his cats. Like what?
Look at the cat right there. Looks pretty fucking content.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I would be content too if my owner made a village like that for me to live in. Dun, dun, dun. Bad news?
Well,
Yeah, come on in.
Why is the cat in the McDonald's is what I want to know.
What?
Fuck, man. Why not build a community where you save your fucking animal from all the shit that we have to
build a
fucking float
gym
around?
for the cat instead of a fucking
Anything.
McDonald's.
I mean, Subway so much better. Don't fucking build. If you're gonna
Oh
build
my
a city, eliminate the fucking fast food. See, there's another one. Jesus Christ. And
Coming
right
up,
into
Sean-
McDonald's.
Coming up, Jon Swarner in a couple minutes here. We're talking some pretty amazing accomplishments with one lung. But before we do that, let's get to some words of wisdom this morning, Jericho. I found a quote here. I always love putting inspiring stuff on the table. This dude was asked why he works out in the gym, and I think you're going to love his response. Jericho, let's run this one.
You're out here putting yourself to mental suffering. What's your why? For sure.
We're meant to be strong. You have to be able to protect yourself if the situation arises with you.
Right.
Not just physically, but mentally also.
Right.
Then you got to be able to protect your family, your loved ones around you.
Right.
We're going to be tested throughout the period of our life, so you just got to be ready.
Kind of hard to hear him, but he just talked about, you got to work out, got to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, right? So I just love finding random people, and just this every now and then it's just those inspiring words that keep us moving, right? So
whatever reasoning makes sense to any individual to take care of themselves, good for you.
exactly. Well, we have one that is coming up here in a minute. Fellas, humans, we have zero excuses, and today we're proving it. Imagine this, Johnny, you're 29,000 feet up Mount Everest, the death zone, where every breath is a fight for survival, but you have one lung. Just one lung, not two. Everybody else in the lineup has two. You got one lung. Today's guest did exactly that more than a decade after he was told, Johnny, he had 14 days to live. Coming up right now, Jon Swarner joins myself and Jon Andersen on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Jon, and friends.
Nation, is any excuse good enough for avoiding the hard decisions you know you need to make? If you think yes, today's guest will change your mind. Because everything you believe about limits sounds different once you hear what this man lived through. As a teenager, Sean was diagnosed with terminal cancer twice. One time, doctors said he had 14 days to live. Instead of waiting for a miracle, Sean began building mental systems to survive pain, uncertainty, and fear. More than a decade later, Sean became the first person in history to summit Mount Everest with one lung. He also became the first person in history to complete the Explorer's Grand Slam with one lung. That includes the world's 7 highest summits, plus reaching both the North Pole and the South Pole. And for good measure, he also ran 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. This man is proof humans have zero excuses. Your ceiling is your own mind. Today, Sean works with senior leaders and teams dealing with burnout, pressure, and constant high-stakes decisions. His True Summit method gives leaders a repeatable way to prioritize, decide, and execute when stress and uncertainty are highest. This isn't a motivational story. It's a conversation about what to do when pressure shows up and quitting feels reasonable. Sean, we're excited to have you on Mornings in the Lab today. Welcome.
This is not an inspiration story. This is not a motivation story. This is real life. This is truth. We got a guy coming up, one lung, 29,000 feet, top of Mount Everest. His name, Jon Swarner. What's going on, Sean?
What's up, man? I saw that video and I was like, I want to meet that guy. He looks pretty cool.
Sean, meet Jon. Jon, meet Sean. What a shaking boys.
How are you, brother?
Doing great, man. I would love to see how that big, beefy body gets up the mountain with little altitude or with little oxygen.
Well, there's a lot of oxygen it takes to run this thing. That's for sure.
That's what I'm saying. I take a group up Kilimanjaro every year. I've been up 27 times. It's the highest mountain in Africa. And I'm going to toss it out here. We can talk later on, but I would love to see how your body handles less oxygen, because you're going to need more than me.
Well, when I was in my strength career, that was a big part of my training was because, we would have like 90-second time limits. You figure 90 seconds is a long fucking time going full fucking bore, right? Compare that to a track. Somebody runs around a track. Let's just say it takes them 60 seconds. By the end, their fucking legs are so jelly because they're completely out of air. I had myself to where I could go 90 seconds flat out and be walking away. It's crazy how your body will adjust to that. Now, not even close to that now because I don't train for it anymore. But the idea of helping the body become more adaptive and operate at a high level, at a lower level oxygen is fucking very real.
Good morning, Ron Burgundy, joining us at the Douchebag Hotel this morning. What a shake. And Ron, I see you're joining us this morning in the Douchebag Hotel this morning on Mornings in Live with Keith, Jon. Friends, Ron, welcome to the show, man. Hey, Sean, I also have climbed Kilimanjaro, changed my life. I just thought I'd throw that out there with you. So 27 times, good on you, brother. You're right. You, me, and Anderson need to get a crew together and climb that mountain.
Absolutely. What do you do in July?
Well, see, the problem is we would have to do something that actually perked my interest.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
There are many more things at sea level that I'm interested in than way the fuck up there.
That's funny. Hey, Sean, let's get into it, man. And this is really poignant for me because I opened up the show today. I was very grateful that I was able to spend some time with somebody who was given minutes, perhaps days, very, very little time to live. And it was a wonderful time of love and expression and so forth. But I want to turn it over to you. You were once given 14 days to live, Jon. Take us into that moment. Like, what went through your mind when a doctor tells you that you're essentially done? Like, there's no future. There's no 17 days. There's only 14. And when you receive that message, how has your perspective changed from the teenager who received the news to who you are today?
You know, interesting. I remember I was 16 years old going through my second cancer. That's when they gave me 14 days to live. And I remember laying in the hospital bed and a man of the cloth comes in, starts reading me my last rites. He's got a rosary in one hand, Bible in the other. And he starts reading me my last rites. And I don't know if you've ever seen.
Was this requested by you or was this just happening because?
No, dude, he just showed up. The hospital also wanted me to write out a living will.
Yeah, what if this was like offensive to you? Like the guy's gonna come start fucking browbeating you on your deathbed. What the fuck, man?
If that's not motivation to want to live, I don't know what the fuck is. Like, what the hell are you doing here?
I mean, if he's an atheist or something, they don't fucking know. Like, get the fuck out of here, old man. What are you doing?
That's pretty much what I said, right? Like you've seen the Monty Python meaning of life or Holy Grail, whatever.
Yeah.
The opening scene is like the Black Plague. They're ringing a bell and like bring out your dead, bring out your dead. And there's an old man they toss up on this little trolley, and he's like, "I'm not dead yet." And they respond, "But you will be soon." That's exactly how I felt. Like they walked in and they're like, "You know, you're dead, and we're gonna read your last rites." And I'm like, "I'm not dead yet." Like, yeah, but you have 14 days to live. And they wanted me to write out a living will. And I remember looking at my mom and my dad, and I only have a younger brother. That's it. So I'm looking at them. The hospital wanted me to write out a will, and I'm thinking, isn't my brother going to get my hand-me-downs anyhow? Like, what the hell could the hospital want? So they wanted to stick me in hospice, and that and there's where the medical system can't measure purpose, they can't measure desire, and they can't measure that inner will to move forward.
Everything you just described does not fucking show up on a blood test.
Exactly. There are no numbers that say, "Hey, I'm 100%
unquantifiable,
inspired to move." Exactly.
What you're saying. Fuck yes.
That's what I find so striking about when somebody says you have 14. How old were you, Sean, at that time? Sorry?
16 years old.
You're oh my goodness. Just get your license, your whole life ahead of you, and somebody's basically reading you your see you later kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was supposed to be getting ready for my whole life, but I was preparing for my funeral.
That is messed up. But you're convinced, like, no. And if I may, how old are you today?
51.
Look at that, Johnny. 14. So 37 years ago, you were told you had 14 days to live, and you're still here after accomplishing. Man, what a great story, Sean. Do you reflect? I'm sure you do reflect on that through some of your biggest moments in life. When you do reflect upon it, what does it tell yourself?
You know, it tells me that a lot of people get worried about the stupidest things. They get upset about the stupidest things. Granted, now when somebody cuts me off in traffic, I'm like, fuck off. But then I get over it really quickly. Yeah. You know, I never remain angry. There's no point. But like, going through the cancers that I had from basically my whole teen years, when you mentioned driving, you know, all my friends were out chasing girls, collecting baseball cards, you know, just their biggest concerns were where they were going to sit at lunchtime, maybe, you know, being popular, wearing the proper clothes. I was going to bed terrified night after night because I didn't know if my eyes were going to wake up the next day or not. And that went on for a year.
Oh my God.
So I've
Talk
learned
about,
from that
brother.
perspective.
But I mean, at that age, that must have been like, granted, when I say this at the time, you clearly didn't know it. But I mean, to have a perspective on not caring about what everybody else thinks about at that age,
Your peers.
I mean, it would almost take a life or death situation for a person or a kid or a male, I should say, because I'm not a female, I don't know for sure. But that stuff is so important for you not to have for you to be worried about death instead of that, and then look back on that and go, holy shit, look how unimportant all of that stuff was. I mean, we all do it as adults, but I mean, you've got such a different perspective on that because you were right in it, worried about something else. And how few kids actually have that experience? Holy smokes.
Very few, especially the ones who had the second cancer I had, which is Askin sarcoma. I don't know anyone else who's ever survived that cancer.
Why did you survive it, Sean?
You know, that's a great question. I would say it's a combination of modern medicine, family support, prayer, and just an inner will to not give up. But but it was also perspective. I remember going through the first cancer. I was 13. I remember looking in the mirror, waking up one morning, and my hair was just all falling out in chunks. I was 70 pounds overweight because of the prednisone. So huge steroid, right?
Yeah.
So looking in that mirror, like there was nothing left. I was an athlete. I was a swimmer. I was a football. Every sport you can imagine. There was nothing left. I just was a fragile shell of a human being. And I went into the shower, turned on the shower, and the water normally how, it hits your hair and kind of soaks down.
Yeah.
All my hair fell out in 15 minutes. So however long it takes for a hot water tank.
Oh my God.
Literally. So for however long it takes for a hot water tank to get empty from hot to cold. I remember I fell to my hands and knees. My hair was clogging up the drain.
You were literally fucking bald after this shower.
Bald. And I was bawling too.
Dude.
So and bawling, crying. Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, because in your mind, you're dying. You're thinking to yourself, you're dying. You're dying.
Exactly. I thought I was dying. My hair was falling out. I had no friends, nothing left. There was nothing left of me. But as that water was rising up, I projected into the future. And if people are looking for a purpose to move forward, to continue putting one step in front of the other one, I projected 3 months into the future, which is the amount of time they gave me to live the first time. And I still have this image of my mom, my dad, and my brother at the dining room table, and there's one empty seat.
Oh my God. Sean, you're killing me, man.
Right?
Whoa.
So then I flash back to that boy on the bottom of the shower floor.
God damn.
And I'm not just fighting for my life. I'm fighting for the lives of my family. I had a deeper purpose.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the perspective that I got from that was I didn't want to focus on not dying. I chose to focus on living.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that was the
profound, key. Dude. Profound. And all this happened in the shower, bawling, losing your hair.
Exactly.
Crazy, dude.
I'd like to just take a quick second here. And Sean, you don't know this, but I had a little monologue this morning because I spent some time with somebody who I said was about to is on some final moments. They've been diagnosed with some terminal cancer as well. And what struck me was she didn't look like someone who was losing everything, Sean. She looked like someone who can finally see everything. You know what I mean? And when I hear you say that at the kitchen table, you weren't looking at about losing something at that with your mom and your dad and your brother. It's like you were looking that you could now finally see everything, which was your purpose to get going again. You follow what I mean? I find there's an irony in that, isn't there? Which is because we go through life and we don't see these things until you're in that moment like you were.
It's absolutely. I think it also too goes back to that idea of only after we've lost everything can we see how much we have to gain.
After we've lost, oh yes.
And even if you look at people who are in say relationships or in any transition point, so many people are focused on what they're going to lose as opposed to what they could potentially get.
Yeah. Well, and then you start playing defense rather than offense. It's what are you going to play? You play defense or offense.
It's exactly. Like that old saying, Sean, it's like, oh, I could never do it. And I like to ask somebody, but what if you did? Oh, it would never happen. But imagine if you did. right? And it's too often too often we say to ourselves, "Oh, I can't do it," or it wouldn't. I'm not able to do it. No, but what happens if you did, right? So speaking of that, Sean, when you hear someone say to you today, a 51-year-old man in your journey in life, somebody says, "Oh, Sean, that's impossible." What is your gut response? Now, you look at your laugh. What is your gut response to that immediately?
My immediate response is obviously I'm going to laugh because
yes. Like that word has changed completely. Like that word has been changed completely in your dictionary, hasn't it? Like that word doesn't exist for you. I'm thinking
it doesn't at all. And I have never allowed someone else's perspective become my reality.
Oh, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And I proved that again about a year ago when I ran 7 marathons on all 7 continents in just 7 days.
Yeah, that's messed up, Sean. Like I didn't even get there with you. Actually, that's messed up.
That's heavy. Just to be able to run 7 marathons, in a short period of time, let alone all that fucking travel in consecutive. Holy shit.
Well, that's what struck me, Johnny, was the travel between continent to continent and the time zones in your body, and just to be able to do all that, Sean.
Absolutely. The funny thing is, kind of putting a little spin on it, there were about 35 of us, 40 of us who did the whole thing. And my biggest concern was just getting my butt back in the plane before it took off for the next continent without me. So, and then recovering on the plane. But we chartered the Rolling Stones' last tour plane. And I sit down next to my buddy, and I'm like, man, it smells like Keith Richards and cocaine in here.
You're getting a little bit of through the leather seats is helping you run the next day.
That's awesome. Right. John, you're gonna love this, because Sean talks about so Sean and John, you guys are gonna bond here with what I'm gonna put on the table next. Johnny, so Sean says that people see their achievements, but what they don't see are the systems that were built. You are a systems guy, Sean. Jon Andersen is a massive systems guy. Talk about how systems help change your life and has helped you achieve all these big goals in your life. The power of systems, Sean.
Systems have to be in place because motivation, inspiration is fleeting. It's never lasting. It does not last forever. But if you have those systems in the right places and the right team in the right place, the right people in the right places, that's what's going to hold you accountable. And if you continue with those systems and you have, say, 50 days worth of accountability in place, if you skip day 51, you're going to feel awful. But by that time 51 days comes around, you're no longer doing it because you think you have to. It becomes a part of who you are. Mm-hmm. So you kind of associate with exercise. You associate with being positive. It's just a mindset shift where you're not looking at those things and you have to do things. You do them because you want to, and it's part of who you are in your daily routine.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's a sequence that people say, 21 days for a habit. That's just the down payment, man. That's you're in the game now. Then it becomes your lifestyle. Then it becomes, more of a state of mind. Once it becomes who you are, it's yours. Live your life. You've now evolved.
So, Sean, you said, go ahead, Sean, please.
I was going to say, and to get to that point, you have to have each day a certain set of non-negotiables.
Yes. Yep. Well, and what are yours?
Well, every morning I wake up, I drink a liter of water. I wake my wife up. We do yoga. Those things are non-negotiable. And I also stay away from sugar, except for one day of the week.
Yeah. Good on you. So curious, why the one day of the week? It's just like I want to have one day of a week. That's kind of like your thing.
Yeah, kind of. I don't want to stay
no judgment. Just curious.
Yeah. No. I don't want to stay strict all the time because a lot of
he's
people.
Not an addict. That's why he can do it.
It's funny. Yeah, no, but it's his system though, right? He's like,
no, it totally. I've tried that, and I've tried this system. That was a system I couldn't uphold with my addiction. So I realized, okay, that can't be part of my equation because I am not successful enough, and that one day of making that mistake, cost me too much.
Exactly.
So my system was just altered.
And that one day also gives you forgiveness to do it. It kind of gives you a little bit of leeway. It's like when you start a quote unquote diet, as soon as you hear the word diet, you think restriction.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, as lifestyle. I love that you said that, brother, because now that I've kind of gone through that whole thing and put it on the shelf, now I don't want to do it because I realize it's not who I am. Because eating that makes me feel poorly, physically, mentally, the list goes on. So it's very easy for me to stay away. I mean, granted, I have safeguards to make sure that it stays easy, but it's become who I am. Now it's if I was to go to eat sugar, I would feel like I would almost like be letting down my inner fiber and all of the people who look to me for strength to do it that are in my position.
Absolutely. And looking at it too, as opposed to, I don't want to eat sugar, tell yourself I want to eat healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sean, one of the things that Jon often says here, and Jon, I'm going to butcher this up. Every good, don't let any good tragedy go to waste.
That was pretty good, dude.
Thanks, brother. Yeah,
I was actually very close. I won't go up behind you that time. That's close enough.
Sean, the tragic news you received as a 16-year-old, that would ring true to that. You did not let that experience wreck you. That tragedy, that tragic news made your life what it is today. Would it be fair for me to make that statement?
Absolutely. They gave me, I had a 0.000000001% chance of living. And in my mind, I wasn't.
How many zeros was that, brother?
Nine zeros.
No shit.
Yeah. 9. I was actually, I was counting on my fingers while I was doing that.
I was going to say, because you were listing off a bunch and it didn't sound like some sort of a joke. You were literally stating a statistic. Oh my God.
Absolutely. So as opposed to being focused on the 99.9999%, I was focused on the 0.0001% chance. So in my mind, when somebody told me that I had a basically no chance in hell of living, I focused on that 0.01%. And I was like, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Oh, I love you, man. And I'll say that out loud. I love you because that is exactly what it is. No, it's true. It's absolutely true. So you say there's a chance. We laugh about that as a joke, but you are living proof of that. Oh, so it's not 100%. Okay, great. I got a chance. I fucking love that, man. That's just
and then okay, so there perfect. There's a chance. Are you going to enjoy the rest of your fucking life pulling for that chance more than fucking laying down and dying? Of course you are.
Yeah.
So fucking pull up your pants and fucking go. And that's what our man did here.
So then, Sean.
I was just going to real quick. If you think you can, you're probably right. You may be able to, but you'll never know unless you try. However, if you don't think you can, then you're absolutely right.
I got a saying, and it's all the time. The man who says or believes he can, and the man who says he believes he can't, are both correct.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Guys, we're hanging out with Sean Swarner today. Imagine this, 29,000 feet up Mount Everest, the death zone where every breath is a fight for survival, but you have one lung. Today's guest did exactly that more than a decade after he was told he had 14 days to live. This morning here on Mornings and Live with Keith, Jon, and Friends, live 8 o'clock Eastern time right here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. Sean, you said something that struck me a few moments ago. You have a brother, and I'm making an assumption here. You have a close family. You're close to mom and dad, close to your brother. Would that be fair for me to say?
Absolutely, yeah.
So then what was your parents' role in keeping you as positive as you were as a young man? Look at your face. Look, Jon, look at his face, because I started to say that you're lighting up. I'm going to answer on your behalf. They were a big part of your role, weren't they?
Absolutely. But I think they're also a part of my world before that happened, because earlier I mentioned I was a competitive swimmer. And I remember when I first started, 5-6 years old, I would swim the 25-meter breaststroke, right? Touch the wall. My mom or my dad would be there to pull my little skinny body out of the water, probably one-handed, rip me out. But they would always ask me, did you have fun and did you do your best? Not, hey, why didn't you beat Jon? Hey, why didn't you beat Steven? Why did you do your best and did you have fun? And absolutely. So they taught me that the next week, if I swam a, let's say, 30-second, 25-meter breaststroke, okay, what's your goal this week? I want to swim at 29, then at 28. So eventually I did become the best. I think I still have records from, 20, 30 years ago that'll never be broken. But because now they cut into my lat muscle over here, I just swim in a big circle. So I kind of can't swim straight.
That's awesome. So mom and dad were a massive part of your of life for you, not only in the swimming pool, but just through. Are mom and dad still alive today?
They are. But I also think it was probably more difficult in anyone who has kids right now. I don't, none that I know of at least. I think that And I hope they don't show up on my door.
Just all you got to do there, brother, is just count the hangups on Father's Day.
There's a story there we haven't asked Andersen, I'm thinking, from that comment, Johnny. You just let that one come out so quickly.
Right. But I think it was more difficult on them than it was on me.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, you know, my wife made this comment last night after we left that space, and with this loved one, and she's like, it's our loss, and that's what it is, right? That's the sad part, is that, you know, we feel like we're losing when mom and dad feel like they're losing you, or we're losing somebody, right?
You know, exactly, and it's also interesting that cancer or anything traumatic or anything similar to that, it's not an individual journey. You know, everybody goes through it together. And a lot of people don't understand that until they're in the middle of it, and they're checking in with their mom, or they're checking in with their son on how everything's going. It's a group effort. It's the same thing as getting up Kilimanjaro, like I mentioned earlier. You know, the mountain success rate is 48%. My groups are at 99% success rate. And it's because I lead from behind and we focus on teamwork.
Yes.
And I think success and surrounding yourself with the proper people is huge. You know, let's hypothetically say I made it to the top of Everest by myself, or Kilimanjaro. Yay, me. Self high five. Like, I want someone to celebrate with.
Well, yes.
Quick question on that level, brother. So, you know, I was talking earlier about training and, you know, trying to get my oxygen, you know, levels high, blah, 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 blah. I used to go with a place up in the Sierras. So I would go up, we're just shy of 6,000 feet. So I would stay up there sometimes for 2 weeks, and I would train. And the first day I was there, going from sea level at the time where I was during this time of my life, I was literally living on the base. I was sea level to just size 6,000 feet. And that first day was unbelievable in terms of how my body reacted. Now, granted, there was a period where it would get better and better, but 6,000 is like a down payment on what you were doing. What was there some sort of a training methodology that you put in? What did you do to get ready for that? It's not like you did it once. What did you say, 27 times?
27 times up Kili. Everest was only once. I mean, that's enough.
But I mean, it's one. I get it if you're just doing something once, you won't fucking worry about it. 27 times. You must be preparing for this. What do you do to prepare for that?
More than anything, you really can't prepare for the altitude unless you have a hypoxic machine.
Yeah.
So which I do, and I pre-acclimatize. So, but before I leave, about a month and a half before heading over to Africa, I dial this machine up, and I'll eventually be training like on a stationary bike at 19,000 feet. And I'll watch my blood oxygen saturation, and I'll do intermittent hypoxic training as well. So I'll dial that thing up to probably 30,000 feet, and I'll watch my blood oxygen saturation on my fingertip with a blood pulse oximeter. And I've had it dip below, 65, 63 before with a pulse rate of 38. And then I'll take it off, 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off. So it's actually simulating altitude, and it's stimulating more red blood cells and hemoglobin. So my body pre-acclimatizes before I get there.
Yeah, that's crazy. Isn't it really amazing how the body will adapt to situations? When you put it in a situation where it's forced to adapt, it's fucking amazing to watch it do its job.
Oh, absolutely. If you get the mind out of the way, the body will take care of itself.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Good morning, everybody. We're going to wrap up here with Sean Swarner, myself, and Jon Andersen this morning on Mornings and Live with Keith, Jon, and friends. Hey, we've been introducing some fun segments along the way here, and I'm going to put this one on the table for us. In a world of AI, we're always asking ourselves whether it's real or not real. Let's throw this one on the screen here, team. I got a question for Sean, and I got a question for Jon. Is this a real picture, or is this a real video or a fake video? What's the opinion of the observers this morning? Sean, you first. Real or fake?
Well, I'm just putting you up on my whole screen so I can check it out.
Yeah, and Johnny, you too, man. Whatever you can see here. So there's what we're describing right now is a massive cruise ship in the middle of the desert. And
this is real, dude. I saw somebody sent me this. I thought it was some fucking weird goddamn AI. What it said, this is 20,050 or some bullshit.
This is a little gimmick here, Johnny. So are you saying it's real or AI? Sean Swarner, you get to vote first. Real or AI?
I'm going to say it's AI.
Jon Andersen, real or AI?
I'm going with my man.
AI. Yeah. Well, you guys are right. It is AI. And I was actually wrong originally. When I pulled this up for Jericho to run it, I was like, fuck, man, look at this ship in the middle of the desert. And he sends me a note later laughing at me going, Keith, it's AI. I'm like, oh my God, I fucking got it.
Well, you got to use some reasoning to this, dude.
I
It's
know,
like,
I
okay, where
understand.
the fuck would that ship end up in the middle of the desert right now? I mean, in 100 years, okay, fucking who knows? But right now, come on, man, Jesus Christ.
I know. I was a little humbled by my.
Yeah, we're seeing some of the cracks in the fucking tech weirdo here. He's like, because he's really good at one thing, but he's fucking missing the boat over here. Well, clearly, a little reasoning with something like that has left the building.
Sean Swarner, where can folks find you, connect with you, engage with you, do some climbing with you? How can folks find you, Sean?
Easy, SeanSwarner.com. Sean spelled the proper way, and the Warner Brothers with an S on the front.
Oh, Sean, you know what, brother? I love you, man. No, your name is not spelled the proper way. I grew up with a Sean that was SHAWN, and any friend that I had was spelled Scene. It fucked me all up, Sean, because I was like, is it Scene or is it Sean?
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. He does these little things that he can reason through. He misses the boat, and they plague him for his whole fucking life.
No, you spell Sean. You spell Sean two ways: SEAN and the wrong way.
Oh my God. And then I love how you played the Warner Brothers on the end there. That is awesome, Sean. That is fantastic. Sean, where are you this morning? Where are you joining us from today?
Right now I'm in Puerto Rico.
Oh, no kidding.
No
Do you
kidding.
live
The
there?
mountainous. My wife is Puerto Rican. She was born and raised in San Juan. So we just built a house down here, but we also live in Castle Rock, Colorado.
Oh, fantastic.
You know, I've actually heard a lot about it. What do you like living over there? What is it like?
I mean, it's beautiful. If you love tropical islands, if you like the sun and you like the culture and food, then absolutely, man, it's a great place to live.
Do you have any
You have to
comments?
worry about like tornadoes or hurricanes and shit?
Nah, I only worry about that in July. we tornadoes, yeah. We were down here when Hurricane Maria came blasting through. So that was if you have survived Category 5 hurricane on your bucket list, I would definitely take it off. Yeah. It is not fun.
No kidding. Well, so I'm up here in Canada. Johnny's in Cali. And so, hey, any words of advice for me and my friends in Canada and anybody living in Venezuela or Cuba who might become part of the United States one day, Sean?
Puerto Rico will,
Joking.
yeah, no, just no.
no, he says.
There's some interesting tax laws about Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Yeah, it's called Act 60. And if you come down here and you buy a house for, let's say, for $1 million and you sell it in 5 years and it's worth $5 million, guess what? You have no capital gains tax. And if you start a business here and employ someone locally, you only get charged 4% tax.
Dude.
So knowing that, my wife is also a real estate agent here. So anybody's looking for property, let me know.
Mornington Lab Studios being built in Puerto Rico for Keith and Jon for a second spot. Sean Warner, will you come back and hang out with us again sometime, brother?
I would love to, man. Maybe you can do a podcast on the top of Kilimanjaro in July. I'm not letting that one go.
You know what? I would be all over that. So I don't know if we would be joining you, but it would be really cool if we coordinated and you actually called in or we did a show while you were. So which route do you travel, Sean? Or do you do a few of them? Which one do you do?
We always go up Machame, down Mueca, 7 days up, 6 days up, 1 day down, and then we fly into the Serengeti for a 4-day safari.
Oh, fun. I feel like we just scratched the surface with you. So I definitely have to have you back. So let's connect off show. Let's stay in touch and let's figure some stuff out in the future, man. You're very inspiring, dude. I got to leave you with that. Johnny, say anything before you want to say goodbye to Sean?
I would say, brother, just keep fucking doing what you're doing, man. The world needs more people like yourself leading by example.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And keep smoking because it sounds like your mom didn't raise a quitter.
That's it. Well, you know, funny enough, my voice sounded like this long before I ever smoked a cigar.
Sean Swarner joining myself and Jon Andersen this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Jon, and friends. Sean, lots of love, brother. You be safe, be well, and we'll be in touch, okay?
All right. Take care, guys.
Awesome. All right. Lifestyle tip with Jon Andersen coming up, reset hour 2. Then we're going to get into the conversation around nicotine on the deep dive this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Jon, and friends. Let's do it, Jericho.
All right, we've been talking about resolutions and how to keep going. And ultimately trying to make this the last one that you, I guess, ultimately quit on. So we're trying to give you some tools so it doesn't happen yet again. So if you're not here today or yesterday, it'll be coming soon. And it's just that day where you're like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to ride my bike. Whatever it is you're choosing to do with your activity, you're going to feel like you don't want to do it. And that's totally fine. But what's not fine is to sit on your ass. Just go for a walk. Do something. Any type of blood flow in place of what you were supposed to do will keep the ball rolling. That's the, see, just, you can't, a person, you, anyone, it's impossible to fail if you don't quit. So don't quit. And if a walk sounds like too much, you know, I don't want to go walk for 20, 30 minutes. Go walk for 5, because I promise you, when you get out there, you'll feel like you can do a little bit more. Just keep the ball rolling. But the mantra I want you to adapt to try to keep this thing going is very simple. If I don't quit, I cannot fail. Rock and roll.
All right, guys, welcome back to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Jon, and friends. If you're just joining us, you're late and you missed some awesome conversations that are live right here, 8 o'clock Eastern time on YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. But we've got more coming up on hour 2, so you're good. Hey, well, here's what you missed so far. We talked about Apple quietly making a massive AI decision, choosing Google's Gemini after a, well, I guess we're calling it a full evaluation. Then we zoomed out to something completely different and equally interesting. We talked actually same-sex behavior with primates. Yes, go back and listen to that one. It's true. And Johnny and Keith decided that if we were stuck in a situation that we would not have same-sex behavior as primates. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to that conversation. We started about the 60-minute mark of the first hour. Center stage, Swarner, a man who was given 14 days to live. And then, you know what he did? He didn't die. No, he spent the next decade doing things most healthy people will never attempt. It was a candid conversation about limits, adoption, and what happens when you stop negotiating with yourself. What a fantastic conversation we just had with Swarner. Coming up next, we're going to drop into the deep dive. We're going to talk about nicotine with Johnny. We're going to talk about spanking, and we're going to get into Maya Reyes, the community corner, and of course, the morning focus coming up this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Jon, and friends. Hey guys, just looking at the comments this morning, I'm with you, Petro. That was an important conversation with Swarner. That was very, very, very inspiring. And Sullivan come back and says, "Thank you so much for inspiration for those of us trying to overcome health issues like myself. God bless." All right, Jericho, let's roll, man. Let's run the deep dive. Let's get into the conversation about why we're not quitting nicotine this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Jon, and friends.
I brought a button that says focus. Everyone wants it, even when it's fake. Quitter's Day makes people loud. They chase shortcuts, then blame them.
We're talking leverage versus loss of control. Yeah. If it's steering you, you're not driving.
So you're saying I need a user manual for my own brain? That feels personal, man. The manual's called boundaries. If you can't set them, you're paying interest that compounds. Conscious choice looks boring and strict. Unconscious habit looks fun until it isn't.
Keith and Jon getting into a conversation around nicotine, then we're going to talk spanking in a few minutes as well. But before we do that, Johnny, what did you take from the conversation with Sean?
You know, I love the end. I think he might be the first guest that ever actually gave me a push on smoking. You know what I mean? I think we got a show first.
He fucking walks out of the lab and throws a snowball at you.
I love it, dude.
So do I. What I took from him was, and I guess it's the obvious, but maybe just after spending some time, just with some news in my own family here, I was just really inspired by that idea that, you got 0.00001% chance to live. And he's like, okay, so I still have a chance. And I was so inspired by that, man, because so often
at that age too, that's the crazy part.
Like you said,
I mean, that's more of a 36-year-old behavior rather than a 16.
Like you said, his peers, like how was he hanging out with his peers? Right. Like I got goosebumps listening to him talk. I thought he was a very, very inspiring guy. Let's talk nicotine, brother. Let's talk nicotine. So, what, and this is not a judgment conversation, just really a conversation about it, because I know it's an interest of yours and we talk about it on the show. And it's an interest of many people's. What do you think? What's the line between tool and crutch when it comes to some of the tools that we enjoy, whether it's nicotine, whether it's cannabis, whether it's a drink, whether it's some kind of behavior that maybe somebody would look at, and I don't want to say judge because we all have our behaviors, but what's the line, Jon, in your opinion, between tool and crutch?
Well, a tool would actually help you with whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, a crutch would hold you back.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that statement, actually. Yeah. So then in this situation, nicotine is a tool, and you've talked before that it's sitting on your desk. You're not staring at it. So to you, it doesn't become a crutch.
Well, dude, if it's not on my desk, I'll forget about it.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, to me, because keep in mind, I have a very addictive behavior pattern. And for me, controlling my addiction is one of the things that I know is a necessity for me to have the life that I want to live. So I have to be on the lookout. You know, I mean, even like with cannabis, you know, it's like, Jesus Christ, I can easily get on these tangents where I'll be justifying that I need it more than I do. And it's, you know, obviously for you've deemed it as a tool. I mean, for me, it takes it's something that I use like to go to sleep. And so if I do it in a different time than that, then it's hindering my creative energy, everything.
What I find interesting about this too, and actually Sean brought it up too, about his I eat sugar once a week, right? Because sometimes we'd say to ourselves, is quitting always the best move, aka the system? Or is controlled use a different system, sometimes more honest? And that was really kind of Sean's. And you said yourself, right? The system for you, which is sugar 1 day a week, doesn't work. It's the same thing. Quitting sugar to me is quitting sugar, not controlled system. It's the same kind of situation, right? So you have decided that, so nicotine, me, cannabis, there's systems for us that become tools for us. And I'm not trying to sit here to justify. That's not the point of this. It's talking tools, talking crutches, talking, you know, why we make decisions. Because sometimes we as humans, we make judgments, and it's not about judging. It's just about talking through, you know, this idea that no, this is a tool that helps me move forward.
Yeah, I mean, with nicotine, the crazy thing is, from what I understand about it, I'll use myself as a prime example.
Yeah.
I was basically informed incorrectly, or my interpretation, whatever you want to call it. So I thought it was harmful. So I was staying away because I thought it was a harmful thing. So I think what we're dealing with is there's a whole crew of people that have chose to make good decisions with their life to stay away, now realizing, wait a minute, this can actually help me. So there's a new fleet of people in kind of entering the nicotine market, if you will, you know. So it's at this point, it's like, okay, well, is it really good for me? Is it not? There's all sorts of shit floating around out there. Well, and everybody's got to find out for themselves.
Well, and I think that's the key point, right? And I think that's where I'm enjoyable of this conversation, because it's fully without judgment. Because one could say that the performance bump that I would say, well, yeah, cannabis helps me focus and does my stuff, and Jon's like, well, yeah, nicotine helps me focus and does my stuff. You know, you might have somebody. Maybe I'm just talking. Maybe Petro might say to us, yeah, but guys, that performance bump you talk about could also be a trap. It could also be a trap, because if the brain learns I can only focus with this, it might, you know, create some dependency loop, right? So there's certainly, and we're both smart enough to recognize that it could be a trap.
Well, I mean, and that's for me, that's why it was so important for me to figure out.
Yes.
Was this going to be something that I was going to have to like heavily manage?
Yes.
Because if it was, then I was okay. Like for some reason, my testing of my own personal addiction went the other way. And it was like, fuck, where's that nicotine when I get up? Right.
Yes.
Now I got to figure out, okay, is the benefit to this outweigh the cost of management, the
Yes.
mental bandwidth it's going to take for me to manage this within my addiction. And so for me, when there was no, when it didn't trigger my addiction, I was like, well, fuck, this is something that's wide open for me to continue my experimentation with.
Well, and there's something to be said for enjoying something. Like there's something to be said for enjoying it. If you enjoy it, right, and you're using it responsibly, there's something to be said.
Well, I
for
mean,
that.
I like methylene blue too, but I don't enjoy taking that. It's just it's more of it's a downstream effect that where the enjoyment is. It's chewing a piece of nicotine gum is not like it's not some pleasurable thing. It's just here I'm going to use this because of the benefit type scenario.
Yeah. Guys, we're not here talking about perfection. We're not here talking about judgment. We're not talking about trying to encourage people to do things that they're not comfortable doing. The flex is really ownership of the situation, right? So if you're quitting, awesome. Do it like a pro. If you're choosing this to make it a conscious part of your life and a system, well, maybe putting some rules around it. Like Jon said, he's like, I put it here, I put it there, and here's how it works, right? And if it's out of control, I think it's safe to say that you guys are hanging out with a couple of guys here would give you a safe space that it's not shame, not it's a signal. It's a place to come have a conversation and build a plan and look for support. So, and that's just the kind of conversations we have here on the show, Johnny.
Well, I think what we have to remind everybody is that what's made this a whole different discussion was the discovery that the delivery system for the nicotine was the addiction.
Is a big challenge, is a big part of it.
That's the part you have to avoid. Like if I was using a different product, which had a very addictive delivery system, we might very possibly having a different conversation.
There you go. All right, hanging out with Keith and Jon here this morning on Mornings in the Lab. We are going to get into a conversation on spanking in a couple of minutes, but before we do that, Johnny, did you know how squatty potties are better for pooping? I know we like to talk dumps on the show often. Well, I've never looked for more information to help you and I have a better life all together. But in a standard sitting posture, the puborectalis muscle maintains a sharper anorectal angle, which can require more straining for bowel emptying. But squatting tends to straighten the anorectal
knees
angle.
Above the hips is what
you're
talking about here.
Yeah, so I got to be honest, dude. 53 years on the planet, never even. This didn't even cross my mind until I saw this. And I'm being very serious right now. Like this was a learning for me, actually.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, I suppose it comes down to what does a person invest in good dumps? What type of investigation?
But Jesus, Murphy. I never thought about the standard dumper and then the squatty potty and how the squatty potty is better because the way your body is again, I go back to, so then why weren't we taught as humans growing up to have squatty potties instead of the standard ones? Just curious.
Because we were taught that there was a whole lot of other things that we needed to focus on that would make us very controllable.
Well, okay, let's go here then.
But you think like this, if you take a dump or two a day, probably not a whole lot of need to discover, let's call it.
Yes.
You start taking 5 or 6 of these things a day. Okay, this is a little bit of a monopoly of time in my life. I should probably figure out some of the most efficient ways to handle this shit, literally.
Well, and Lauren, I didn't know this. Lauren put up here the squatty potty was a product that hit a grand slam on Shark Tank years ago. I did not know that. So I guess
check this out. My daughter one time, middle daughter, excuse me, got dehydrated to the point where like she was still in diapers at this point. And I could tell she was trying to go to the bathroom and she couldn't. So I put her on her changing table. And I thought for sure I was going to find a dump in there. There was nothing. But I could see literally that, her little bung was slightly open and you could see a turd in there that was trying to come out. I was like, oh, fuck. She's grinding away on this thing and nothing's happened. I could see she was uncomfortable. So I put her on the toilet. This is when she was way too little for a toilet.
Yeah.
But a seat down, of course. Put her in there and she looked like she was going to fall through. I mean, her knees were way up in her armpits.
Yeah.
Right. And I just sat on a chair in front of her and basically read her a book and just got her not thinking about anything. And all of a sudden, just heard this, just this huge splash.
Yeah.
and this fucking turd fell right out of there because we got her knees up,
Yes.
way above her hips, and she relaxed, wasn't thinking about it, and the body took care of business.
Well, so I, as you're telling that story, I'm reflecting about some of the time, you know, watching my little Brooks do some of the same things as a young girl, having some troubles. And I remember Lauren kept saying, lift your knees up. And I learned from then, but I really didn't connect the dots from 2 to 2 to 4 to even this morning's conversation. But yeah, your knees go up. It's obviously going to open up the entry point, and make it a little bit easier, right? So,
well, it's figure like this, you know, you've been connecting dots with tech most of your life. I've been connecting dots with the body most of my life.
yes. Yeah, it's true. I know, which is awesome. It's
just, you know, when you investigate, it's crazy what you learn.
It's true. It's true. I'll tell you what we've learned. Hey, so we both grew up in the same era. Here's a straight question. I know that you had a stepfather growing up. Had you ever been spanked as a young boy?
Yeah, I've been spanked a few times, not too many. But because I was always, excuse me, my mom was very good at getting you to do what you were supposed to do just by her communication.
Interesting.
And her emotion.
My mom's communication included the spatula and the wooden spoon. Jericho, let's get into this conversation this morning on spanking. Is it discipline or is it abuse in 2026?
Real talk, if you grew up spanked, this hits different. Quiet isn't learned. Fear isn't respect.
The research keeps landing hard. Spanking may get quick compliance. Long-term, it's linked to more aggression and weaker trust.
This isn't soft parenting. It's high-performance parenting. Firm standards, consistent consequences, and emotional safety.
Here's the line. Discipline stays calm and controlled. If you're heated, you pause. No anger, no losing it.
Build a consequence menu of 2 or 3 options. Loss of privilege, repair what you damaged, or a reset timeout. Nation, what should your kids fear more? Consequences or your mood? Type standard, reset, or consistent.
All right, guys, we're talking spanking this morning. If you grew up getting spanked, this topic might hit different because part of you wants to say, I'm fine, it worked, I deserved it. But here's the problem. Quiet is not the same thing as learned, and fear is not the same thing as respect. Research keeps landing on the same uncomfortable point. Spanking might get a quick result in the moment, but over time, it's linked to more aggression, worse behavior, and a weaker relationship with parents. Let's get into it here today, guys. Spanking, good, bad? Is there a place for it today in 2026, or is there? Some would say, you talk to my folks, Johnny, kids aren't disciplined today. They need a good smack on the ass.
I mean, as a father, I went through a whole evolution. I mean, I started off with, you know, the middle one was pretty unruly. So she's, you know, started off in diapers. It was more of just, it kind of scared them. You give them a little swat in the butt.
Yep.
You know, it's like hitting, it's like a pillow back there.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then once they're not wearing diapers, you know, then all of a sudden you're starting to make contact, and it's like, it becomes kind of a different thing. It's not so much a scare tactic anymore. It's like a physical pain thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I quickly pivoted out of that and started using physical exercise as part it was squatting. 50 squats was an infraction.
Oh, so you turned the whole thing around.
Yeah.
I love this because
I'm gonna make this pain actually have a reward. It's gonna have some constructive nature to it.
Well, what I'm thinking, Jon, is it was you responding instead of reacting. It was your response for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the idea of, because if I was spanking, I was in a spot too. So, but here's what happened. Interesting enough. So, basically, what happened was the middle one, especially, man, she was just a stubborn, just like me, you know. So it'd be hey, don't do that, right? If you do that again, it's 50 squats. She just like literally, okay, there's 50, you know, and then she'd go, okay, there's 100. One day, she fucking racked up 300. Just literally that quick, just doing, I mean, literally just like pushing the envelope. And I was like, 300? And she just stopped cold, looks me right in the eyes, basically saying, fuck you, Dad. and rapped out 300 without stopping.
Are you serious?
And I was like, I watched that happen. And I was like, okay. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you win. I've got to pivot again because this is like 300 fucking squats. Jesus Christ. You get high level athletes that have a heart attack. She's fucking 6 years old. You know?
You're breeding.
So I pivoted away from that into writing pages.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yes.
So it was a page, right? And of course, at the beginning, it was, but then it's the same fucking thing happened. I had to beef it up to 5 pages in a fraction. So, but then she literally won the same thing, kept 20 fucking pages, right? And wrote them all.
Yeah.
And so again, it was all constructive. So here's kind of a cool story. She gets into junior high.
Yeah.
And the first day, it's the first time that you ever have, first time that you ever have different teachers in every classroom. And so the teachers were all like, okay, your homework is there's 5 minutes left. Here's your homework. Spend the last 5 minutes, in getting to know your team or your classmates, blah, blah, blah. I want you to write a page about yourself so I know who you are. So she just fucking rifles out a page in like 90 seconds because that's what she was used to doing and fucking hands it in. And the other kids were like, how did you do that? Every class. And then even better, PE comes and they do some sort of a fucking physical test. And she's such a fucking savage.
Because she's been squatting since 6.
Oh, fuck, dude. Like the PE teacher was like, how did you do all this? Right? Like they did this thing where they ran around the perimeter of the school. And her leg endurance was so good, dude. She was like probably 75 yards ahead of the rest of the fucking pack. It was crazy.
It's fucking crazy. So you talk about turning turning a good tragedy into whatever you're saying. Is that your daughter going, I'm fucking up, I'm getting better. I'm fucking up, I'm getting better.
I mean, a crazy thing is now as an adult,
yes,
she has that. It was all a mindset thing. Physically, that stuff will drift away, right? She doesn't exercise like that anymore.
Do the girls go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, but what that did was that made her really, all of it made them better at difficult shit. So now when something difficult hits, they don't have that voice talking them out. They just fucking dive in.
You know how we talk about the show, how we're taught things. So I was raised in a house where spanking was common. Father, mother, uncles. I've been smacked on the ass by uncles because if I fucked up with my cousins, I was getting a smack on the ass. Or at the farm, Johnny. Like it was part of how I was raised. All judgment aside, I can say as a father, I'll throw it on the table too. So I had done it once with my son, once with my daughter. Not with Carter and Pipes as young kids, but just once. And it was almost like. And I'm not saying this to justify it, but it's like when it happened, I'm like, oh, I didn't like that. Like, I didn't like that. I didn't like how
you don't like how you feel.
No, so with Carter, it never happened again. And then with Piper, it happened once. And then it was again, the same thing. It was like, oh, I don't like that. It never happened again. Right. But it's like I had to do it, John. And I hate to say this, but I wouldn't be doing my job on this show if I'm not saying this with being vulnerable. I hate to say this, but it's as if I had to learn myself because of what I was taught or what I observed through my own upbringing for me to recognize what I did not like. You follow me?
Dude, we often will imitate until we realize that's not what I want to do.
What do you say all the time? Our kids don't listen to what we say, to what we do, right? So, and that was because it was like, okay, my kids are acting up. I guess what I need to do because I'm the dad is smack my kid on the ass. And it was like, oh my God, I don't like that. That didn't. I got to be honest, brother. I hate talking about it, and I'll use the word hate. But that's why we're here to do this show. I strongly dislike talking about it.
I listen. There's been a few moments that I've taken with my kids, and I think I've explained this on the show. And thank God they don't remember these scenarios.
Yes,
but I think back, I'm like, God, as a father, if I could redo a moment, it would be that one.
Oh, fuck me too, brother.
And so I would actually sit them down and say, hey. There was a situation, we were here, we were doing this, and this is what happened. And I just want to tell you that I overreacted, and I'm sorry that I behaved that way. And they're like, well, Dad, thank you for bringing it up, but I don't really remember it. So thank God it was worse in my mind than it was for them.
Yes.
But it's like, holy smokes. I mean, our job is to help them understand,
is to teach
how to negotiate fucking life and other people and relationships. And when we fucking lose our shit, or not even lose our shit, just act in a way that is not a way we're proud of, that goes right down the pipeline into them.
So true. Lauren says, living in fear doesn't teach anything. It's true. Kindness. Matt Roof comes in and says, wooden spoon from mom, mostly just threats. My father laid hands on me once that I can recall, and I realized it was an appropriate response. Season Strength comes back and says, whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline. And Melissa drops in a proverb, Johnny, Proverb 23, 13, 14. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you beat him with a rod, he does not die. Beat him with a rod and deliver his being from the grave. This is a conversation that affects every parent, and it's one that we will constantly have here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Johnny, and friends. Hey, Johnny, before you go, man, before we go here, but Snoop was caught on stage at the Golden Globes, and I know we're both Snoop fans, like to have some fun here. Let's run this clip, man. I just saw this yesterday quickly. I don't think you've seen it, but watch it. This is Snoop on stage. He got cut off making this comment.
But the real winner... I'm high as a motherfucker right now.
You know what I love about him, Johnny? He's so authentic to himself.
But
and
the
that
real
is
winner.
He's just
honest, dude.
Honest, dude. Honest. All right. Hey, John, before you go.
John, before you go, I've got a hidden op story under every plane. It's not glamorous, but it's necessary. It starts with pros in protective gear. They move like surgeons because nobody wants a leak on the runway.
A truck hooks to the underside port and sucks it out.
The comments still act like they invented comedy. Then they flush disinfectant and refill fresh water like a pit stop. That's hygiene discipline, not a meme. This got 344K views because people love unseen operations. They'll share it, but they'd never do it.
John, this explains a lot.
Most people avoid airplane toilets. You treat them like a documentary series.
I'm loving this segment to throw shit at you, all pun intended, just that's fun. But could you imagine having this job? Because I could not. The guy who has to walk up to the plane when it lands and does this. Like, that is the tank that's coming from the restroom on the fucking shitter on the plane, and you're just sucking it all out. Like, dude,
hey, you know what? He's got really fucking good benefits.
You know what, Neiman, we gotta find a guest for the show that does this for a living. Like, honest to God, like, so I always joke about who wants to be the dental hygienist. Like, is this a job you fall into?
What are we gonna fucking get this guy on the show and fucking? I mean, come on.
I know, I'm kidding.
It's almost like we'd be borderline mocking him the whole time. It would be like
we would be actually.
That's what I mean. It's like that's not right. We're supposed to be trying to promote these people to,
Yes. I will tell you a little more. I will tell you this so quickly before you go. I had a guy pumping up my septic tank a couple years ago. He's like, "Hey Keith, if you know anybody who wants to do the job, I pay $100,000 a year to drive the truck around. I can't find anybody." So he couldn't find anybody. He pays $100,000 a year. He had 2 trucks. He goes, "I pay $100,000 a year for somebody to come pump your septic tank out," and he had problems finding people. So there you go, $100,000, and people don't want to pump shit.
Good for them.
I agree.
I mean, there's a lot of jobs for millions of dollars I wouldn't accept.
Good for them. That's the best. Hey, how was your lift yesterday? You got a day off today. What are you doing today?
It was good. It was really good. Yeah, I've had a good session.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's all. What are you doing today? Pick a ball today?
No, because I still got like a half 3/4 day with them here.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so when they're here, we just kind of do what they want to do.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I got an active day today. I'm gonna actually probably drop you a text or a little voicemail later because of just some crazy shit in my world in the last few days that you're gonna have a giggle about, and then maybe some life expectancy work today. Maybe tomorrow I'll be living longer. So
that's probably a part of my future too, because we've had the grandboy for a little while.
We're both going to be living longer tomorrow. We'll be frolicking around. All right, pal. Well, listen, you have yourself a good day today. We got, I'll see you in less than 22 hours, right back here at 8 o'clock Eastern time with Keith and Jon on Mornings in the Lab.
Have a good loop, my brother.
You betcha, buddy. All right, guys, let's walk Johnny out of here. Johnny's out of the lab, you guys. You're left with me, the handsome chief. Yep. No, not John, me, Keith Bilous. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Jon, and friends. We get after it every day, live, 8 o'clock right here on YouTube, over there on X, and of course, over there on LinkedIn as well. Let's see here. I got some comments here. Jimmy, pumping his septic tank. Oh, man. Jericho, you going to go get that job? Yeah, you're going to go pump some shit? And Melissa says, we have so many people willing to do the humble jobs. The culture is very much do what you have to do, I'm sure. Listen. Sometimes we got to go where the jobs are. And sometimes that means pumping that shat. Okay, so today's morning focus monologue is all about stopping negotiating with yourself. And before we run this here, Jer, yesterday I was in a few meetings that did something I didn't expect. And maybe we all go through this. And I know I pride myself, Jon prides ourselves. We share our lives, and hopefully it inspires you guys to share yourselves and do things that maybe you're struggling with accomplishing. And one of the things that I personally struggle with myself is my value. So yesterday I was in a few meetings that did something I didn't expect. Let's run the opener, Jericho, and let's get into this morning focus conversation about stop negotiating.
You ever leave a meeting and realize something snapped back into place? Yeah. Not ego, just clarity. Like you remembered who you are again. Happens when people treat your instincts like guidance, not opinions. That's the danger. Carry value long enough, you start discounting it. Morning focus is about that moment when you stop negotiating against yourself.
All right, guys, yesterday I was in a few meetings that did something I got to admit I did not expect. The meetings reminded me of my own value. I talk about mirrors here often on this show, and yesterday was a good look into my own mirror. And not in an ego way, not in a look at me type way, look at me, look at me. No, in a quiet way. The kind that hits you after you leave the room, and the kind that when you're driving home, you're saying to yourself, oh, right. I forgot who I am. Because if I'm being honest, I'm learning that I undervalue myself, not only sometimes, quite often. Now, I do that thing when I act like what I know is normal because it's my normal. And I act like that when I've built I do this thing where it comes easy to me and I just think it's normal. And I act like what I built isn't rare because I've been carrying it for so long. I act like my instincts are just opinions when they're actually earned. And then I meet people. I meet awesome people, smart people, smarter than me people who are still trying to solve problems I solved 10 years ago. And I don't say that to flex. I say it because it's a mirror. It was a good reminder. I was in a conversation yesterday and I was like, yeah. And I was putting the person on a pedestal. And I'm like, yeah, I solved that years ago. And it was a reminder that experience, our own experiences, is a form of value that you can't hold in your hand, but you can feel it the moment that it walks into the room. And here's the part that really messed with my head, and in the best possible way, to be frank with you. I met someone, and I've been talking to someone who literally packages value into something that you can't see. It's not a product you can point at. It's not a thing you can ship. It's not a feature list. It's positioning. It's clarity. It's trust. It's energy. It's momentum. It's this unbridled confidence. It's knowing what to say and what not to say. It's the difference between being good and being undeniable. And that itself is value. Because real value, as I'm learning and as I've learned, is actually often invisible. You don't always see the invoice. You don't always see the deliverables. You don't always see it in a spreadsheet. But you certainly feel it when it's missing. Because when the right person isn't in the room, everything just takes longer. Everything costs more. Everyone debates the same thing again and again. But when the right person is in the room, you know what I've experienced? Well, things get simpler. They do. The fog lifts, right? The fog lifts. Things get much simpler. Decisions happen. And people walk out feeling lighter, like, oh, that's what we're doing. Well, that's worth. And here's what I'm sitting with today. If I'm questioning my value, it's not because I don't have any. It's because I've gotten used to carrying it quietly, like maybe you have. And maybe you're doing the same thing. Maybe you've been discounting yourself because you're humble. Or maybe you've been through hard seasons, or maybe because you're so capable, you forgot that not everyone thinks the way that you think. So today, as I got up, I'm making myself a deal. And I invite you to steal this if it helps you as well. I'm going to stop negotiating against myself. I'm going to stop shrinking my value just because I can't touch it. Because what I bring isn't always tangible. But what I know I bring, it's real. And it's worth something. And damn it, I'm done pretending that it isn't.
Community Corner is where good ideas either get legs or die quietly in your head. Don't let yours rot. One guy says your best thoughts aren't bad, they're just homeless. No system, no action. Another says the world owes you nothing. And somehow that's the most freeing idea here. And someone else is telling high-performing men they're running their marriages like quarterly reviews. That's a problem. Different platforms, same tension. Stop waiting. Stop managing. Start actually doing the thing. Over to you, handsome chief. Let's hear those stories.
And says, or you have a bad case of imposter syndrome. She puts her hand up. Dude, I can relate to that. I think plenty of us can. That's why I had to put it on the table. That's why yesterday's meetings plural, was good, because man, value is a crazy thing. You know, what we think we're worth, what somebody perceives our worth, what we're good at, what we take for granted. So many variables determine value. Opinions are like, but maybe negotiation is refining a situation or idea to function with the situation. Not saying I'm right, just a thought. I'm curious opinions. Opinions, why don't you give me a call? 431-300-3005, 431-300-3005. Let's talk about your opinions. I'm curious to what you're saying there. But maybe negotiation is refining a situation or idea to function with the situation. I can potentially buy in that. Not saying you're right, just a thought. I like your thought, and I love provocative dialogue. 431-300-3005. Why don't you phone me? We'll have a conversation about it, or come continue with the conversation in the comments. Opinions, where are you joining me from this morning? It's imposter syndrome, value, all those things that we question ourselves with, right? And then you have people on the other side of the coin, which, stand up and say, no, this is what I'm worth. This, you don't like it, walk away. I had a meeting with somebody yesterday who's like, yeah, my value is, if you want to book me, it's $5 million. And he just stood there and looked at me straight in the eyes like, that's what it was. That's what it is. It's not 3.5. It's $5 million. If you want to work with me, it's $5 million. He's like, yeah, you can go work with a lot of other people that pay you 50 grand, 100 grand, and maybe get some similar things. But my value is $5 million. I got to be honest, man. I certainly have so much respect for people that can just grab that number and articulate it and say, okay, here's what my worth is. I still struggle with that today. Am I $1,000 an hour? Am I $500 an hour? Am I $100 an hour? And I think part of it, Neiman, has to do with the fact that, I was raised in a society where, okay, well, there's the lawyer, there's the doctor, there's these educated humans that because they spent all this time going to school, they have an education, there's a value, there's a worth there. But then I quickly forget that I've accomplished a bunch of great things through my journey in life. Maybe not school, maybe not being a doctor, maybe not being a lawyer, but I've accomplished some things, and those things are worth value. But it's funny because when you're living it, Neiman, you just think it's normal. And when you think it's normal, you decrease the value so significantly because it's just normal to you. And I found myself doing it yesterday, talking with somebody like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. I'm like, fuck man, I made it in 3 seconds. And to this person, like, oh, it would have took me 4 weeks. And I was like, oh. And it was that disconnect of value because I'm like, well, yeah, I just like what I do. Perhaps like this show, this is what I do. To others, oh my God, it's really hard. So value is a fascinating thing. And I got to be honest, it's something I struggle and I battle with daily. And here's something who I really admire and respect, who knows his value, Jon Andersen. He does. You know, he is what he is, and it is what it is. And here's his cost, right? I got a lot of respect for folks that can really lean into understanding what their value is and what they're all about. And you take it for what it is. So, all right, guys, Dominic Hart over on YouTube says, how to turn your random thoughts into action. Dominic says, most people lose their best ideas because they don't have a system to capture and execute them. The creativity needs structure, not just motivation. So Dominic carries a pocket moleskin everywhere for rough capture. All ideas, sketches, bad thoughts go in there, and then he uses 2 A5 journals. Neiman, I love the details. The A5 journals, not the letter, not the legal. No, the A5 journals. 1 for habit tracking, 1 for daily reflection. I love the fucking detail, man. The A5. Just like the specific choice. Yeah, I love them, man. The A5, good decision, Neiman. I love that. And the missing link for him is Notion. That's where Dominic's ideas go from physical journals into organized boards, pipelines, and calendars, color-coded stages, deadlines, and real execution. So what's Dominic's point? The ideas we all have, cheap, but the output, the execution, rare. Back to value. Ideas are a dime a dozen. Executing is the value. And I was reminded of that again yesterday. Yeah, great, Keith. A lot of people want to go and build a $50 million company, but can they do it and can they sell it? Oh, right. He goes, that's motherfucking value, man. You've done that. Others haven't. That is value. Ideas are cheap. Output is rare. Execution is rare. Right. And then Dominic says the system removes friction, putting structure around the creativity so you keep showing up. So guys, here's the question for you today. What's the one idea that you've been telling yourself that you'll remember, but you've never acted on? Maybe today's the day to write it down. Maybe today's the day to lean into it. Maybe today's the day to take that idea and execute on it. Because a reminder, that idea you have, it's fucking cheap. ChatGPT has them. Gemini has them. Grok has them. Ideas are aplenty, but they're not executing them for you. So I challenge you. Get that idea, get that random thought into action and create and execute. Let's move to Substack. We got Leo Jasper using Sartre's existentialism to make a simple point. True freedom begins when you stop believing life owes you anything. Entitlement keeps you passive. You're waiting to be paid back, waiting for someone else to give you permission, the opportunity, the fairness, and that just keeps you stuck. But the radical responsibility that we all get is both terrifying and liberating, removing excuses, but also giving you maximum leverage over your own direction. So once you abandon the idea of being owed, you stop waiting and you start acting, and you finally own your life and your trajectory. Let's lean back onto our guest here today. It's exactly what he went through. So what's your knee-jerk reaction when you see people walking around with a sense of entitlement? What does entitlement do to you? Does it drive you nuts? Do you accept it? Do you look away? Do you embrace it? Or do you ignore it? Maybe you don't want to put the energy over there. Maybe you're saying to yourself, fuck it. They're entitled. It is what it is. I can't do nothing about it, so I'm not going to put my energy over there. Something to be said for that as well. All right, let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep the conversation going. And we're going to move on down to from YouTube to Substack over to LinkedIn. Stop running. your marriage like a boardroom. Sam Morris says that many high-performing men show up as sharp, decisive leaders at work, but yet they're confused and reactive partners at home. Maybe this is a question for Brianna Bass, No Safe Words, every second Tuesday right here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Jon, and Friends. And Sam argues that the same tools that build your business are potentially destroying your marriage. Business rewards control. Business rewards metrics. Business rewards frameworks and being several moves ahead. While relationships demand presence with uncertainty, with emotional exposure and intimacy. You can't optimize connection like a balance sheet. So, why do we? Many men are the wrong operating system at home. They're trying to manage a marriage like an asset instead of participating as a vulnerable, engaged partner. Our invitation for you to is this. The shift today that I want you to consider is put down the business tools, guys. Stop managing your relationship like a business at home. Start participating. Engage. Be intimate. Be present. Because you can't optimize connection like a balance sheet, but you can optimize connection through regular life expectancy work. Maya, are you getting some life expectancy work in today?
That's Community Corner today. If something poked you, good. That means it matters. Ideas don't need hype, they need friction removed. Capture them, sort them, then ship. You're owed nothing, and that's freedom. Responsibility gives you the wheel. At home, drop the boardroom voice. Show up, listen, stay present. Nation, what idea have you been parking instead of driving? Let us know in the comments.
All right, guys, wrapping up the show here today, coming into the last few minutes. We got opinions are like coming in saying the best advice I heard about maintaining any relationship is cooperation, not compromise. Opinions, you're bang on. I'm not sure if you're a brother or a sister. So brother, sister, you're bang on opinions. Yes, cooperation, collaboration, love, kindness, all those great adjectives that I think will move anything together. Compromise is a thing is a thing that makes people get uncomfortable pretty quick. So I certainly love your comments here on cooperation, not compromise. All right, guys, if you zoom out, wow, today was really about ownership. Think about it. The entire show was about ownership today. Not slogans, not optics, ownership. We talk about what it actually means to be in control of your tools instead of pretending that discipline means blind quitting. We looked at adaptation. We looked at pressure, limits through completely different lenses, tech, biology, leadership, and performance. And hopefully you walked away from today's show with a clearer sense of where you're choosing intentionally versus where you might just be following scripts you've never agreed to. That is the point of this show. Not to tell you what to think, but to sharpen how you decide, to give you things to think about. You know, one of the things I like to say here is we like to make suggestions. We like to make recommendations. You make the decisions. So guys, before you get after your day today, quick invitation. Please like the show, subscribe to the show. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in and choosing to spend your time with us. I know that you guys have a chance to spend your morning many different places, and many of you choose to spend your time with myself and Jon every single day live here at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And then you guys also get up at 7:30 Eastern time with Matt Roof at 7:30 Eastern time as well. So I appreciate that. Before you get after, guys, I was going to say tomorrow, we're going to come back with something that fits perfectly into staying dangerous, capable, and mobile as you age. We got a guest, Dr. Tommy Rhee, former U.S. Navy aviator who flew S-3 Viking jets. He turned elite sports chiropractor. He turned regenerative medicine innovator. He's worked with NFL teams, Olympic sprinters, and high-level athletes who could not afford downtime. Out of necessity, he helps pioneer a contrarian approach to regenerative medicine that skips needles, it skips expensive injections, and focuses on cell-free topical therapies that signal your body to heal itself. Tomorrow, we're talking about mobility beyond 50, staying active without breaking down, and why the future of regenerative medicine might not be live stem cells at all. And what happens when military precision meets athlete performance and long-term health. Long-term health, I should say. Yes. All right, guys, you know where to find us. The same time, the same place. Where is that? Right here. Live, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Mornings in the lab with Keith, Jon, and friends. YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. We'll see you guys in less than 24 hours. Have a good one, nation.